also former Minister for Eastern Province. They've come together as a joint force. So Tonse Alliance with various political parties and various NGOs, similarly PF Pamosi Alliance, similar many political parties and alliances, and together they are forming one joint ticket of Brian Mundubile and Makebi Zulu as running mate. We'll be discussing everything and everything around the issue. This is an introductory program, so we may not go deep into various issues, but I think as introductory, we'll try to catch as many things as possible. The leaders are just getting ready in the studio, and we are going live very shortly. I was just reading to you that we, out of 27, 28 political parties that had paid the 100,000 and intended to clear the 1,000, 14 have filed successfully so far. And I read the 14 political parties and their running mate. In relation to this alliance, just 5 days before we could commence the nominations and a day before presenting the 1,000, there was a dramatic announcement that Honorable Brian Mundubile, leading Tonse Alliance, and Honorable Makebi Zulu, leading PF Pamosi Alliance, would come together. There was that night announcement that was made, and that this electoral pact will feature one presidential candidate and one running mate, and that they will share between their special purpose vehicles seats across the provinces. And like any alliance, any marriage, there are issues, and we want to understand what could be the issues, and the leaders are here to clarify the issues. And I think the leaders are in the studio. Let me just come and introduce them. Good evening and welcome to today's program. Honorable Brian Mundubile and Honorable Makebi Zulu, congratulations on your successful filing of this nomination. There were apprehensions, there were prayers, the people were fasting, but the ticket was successful. So congratulations. Let me start with Honorable Brian Mundubile. Good day, and give us your introductory remarks.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba. It's indeed a very good evening to all the viewers, countrymen and women.
Thank you.
We are happy to be, yeah.
Oh, please proceed.
Yes, we are excited to feature on your program this evening with Vice President Makebi Zulu. We've had a very hectic week, and of course today we went to worship in Lilanda, where we received a thunderous welcome from the residents of Matero and Lilanda. So it's been a very good day indeed.
Thank you very much. Honorable Makebi Zulu, I saw you are already working as a team. I saw you at the Cathedral of the Holy Cross, and today you were in church. How are you? And just give us your introductory remarks.
Thank you for having us, Ambassador. Congratulations to my fellow Arsenal fans for the great win. For the great win. It's indeed a good day to be alive as an Arsenal fan. And coming to what we are here for, it is a good relationship that we have forged together for purposes of making sure that we put a united front in this fight for Zambia. Fight for the long-lost independence. At least during these 4 periods, people have lost their rights to express themselves. We have seen how that governance systems have broken down to intolerable levels. The judiciary is down on its knees. The legislature down on its knees. The civil service is so compromised. and politicized. And we thought together we can press the reset button and do what the Zambians really want us to do. Of course, you know our roots, coming from the Patriotic Front Party. My colleague had gone a different way. I had gone a different way, or at least we had gone different ways as PF. But we thought it wise that we come together, not putting selfish ambitions, but in this case, being selfless in our approach to say, what exactly do we want? And we decided what is important are the Zambian people, and something has to give. And it's for that reason that we said, let's work together. Let's have a common goal. And this goal is to serve the Zambian people. I will be a check on my brother. He will be on a check on me, so that we do what we promised the Zambians we are going to do. And it is in that vein that we said, let's not just talk about unity, let's live that unity that we've been talking about all this while. And we are here today. Of course, there are these teething issues that we're experiencing, and we are committed to ensuring that we resolve them in an amicable manner that is going to motivate people to get out of their homes, to go and vote, because the message that we have for the Zambian people is that of liberation, is that of making sure that we restore hope back to the Zambian people. I was just telling my brother to say the lamp is one of the things that has gotten out of the bag, out of the bag, and out of this bag there's a lot of things. There's agriculture, there's everything. So we just showcasing the bag, and this time around we're standing on the lamp together for the presidential vote. Then Lusaka, Copper Belt, it's the bag. The rest of the country, it's the lamp. And obviously,
In fact,
say that,
Honorable Makebi Zulu, let me invite the president, especially on that matter, before we delve into the details. Mr. President, I noticed the crisis already, because of course we have state attack. When Tonse Alliance picked FDD, even when FDD had a genuine conference, they couldn't confirm the matter registrar of society. Even at the last minute before your filing, we saw the issues. The crisis that has beset PEP, Sean Tembo's political party, is even being attributed to you, because they think that probably it was your other special purpose vehicle in the bag. So 2 political parties suffered because of this. How are you ensuring that the teething problems that might come in this alliance do not in any way derail this ticket and you march towards 13th August 2026?
Yes, Ambassador Mwamba. The first thing to know or to note is that this alliance is beyond myself and Honorable Makebi Zulu. It's beyond constituent members of this particular alliance. It's now in the hands of the Zambian people. This alliance has given hope. People now believe national restoration, a reset of the country. The Zambian people now believe it is possible. So clearly, the teething that we are having are not unusual. Like you rightly pointed out in your opening remarks, Ambassador Mwamba, like any marriage, even at household, you'll have challenges. So if you ask me whether or not we expected to have teething problems, the answer is yes. So there's nothing unusual with the teething problems that we are having. But what is important is that the 2 of us at the top have resolved, and we're ready to provide leadership to the rest of the members, who should respect and understand that this union is backed by the Zambian people, and it is there to restore unity, to restore democratic governance, to restore constitutional order. We have embarked on a journey, Ambassador Mwamba, of national restoration, national reset, so that our people can live a good life again. We have decided that we will not only change government, but to also change how government works. Policy reform is not enough without state reform. So if you look at the number of reforms we are proposing in our manifestos, they point to the fact that we'll start by changing how government works. And this will start with, first of all, depoliticizing the civil service. It will go to professionalizing the civil service and also having a merit-based recruitment process in the civil service. So because of what we're offering, it's expected that every member of this alliance will work towards unity and not division. We know that particularly President Hakainde Hichilema would only want to go unopposed. He has demonstrated this at party level, and unfortunately, he would want to do that even at national level. If you look at the battles that we fought in the past 2, 3, 4, 5 months, this is something that never happened to President Hakainde Hichilema once he was in opposition. FDD was our initial special purpose vehicle. They went on to frustrate every effort to change the list of office bearers, and as if to mock members of the FDD, members of the alliance, and indeed the Zambian people, they only released the changes the day after we had filed our nominations under NRPUP. So clearly, we know up to now, we have information up to now, they're all over trying to find ways through which they can disturb what we have created. But like I've always said, the will of the Zambian people will prevail. The Zambian people have hope. The Zambian people are looking forward to having Honorable Brian Mundubile on the ballot together with Makebi Zulu. This ticket, Ambassador Mwamba, is unstoppable. It is unstoppable because it's highly supported by the Zambian people.
Thank you very much. We clear the concerns that I've seen from both your members, you know, like when the alliance has come together, there are still challenges, still various powers of centers, and that's, I think, what you are trying to put together so that there's a respect for your authority. The candidates that are filed, in many cases, mayors, MPs, councillors, Resolute Party, and NRPUP. I think this has provided concern. Is there a policy direction of what you are going to do about this? And this can be answered by either of you.
Yes, indeed, Ambassador. There is a policy direction. We were waiting for the end of the nomination period so that we look at who has filed where. And against the lists that we had initially approved, we are going to provide direction so that our voters are not confused. Our Secretary Generals are sitting with provincial chairmen right across the country to assemble reports that we are going to use to make decisions. So by tomorrow, we expect that these lists will be with us, and will provide direction to our members and indeed to the Zambian people.
Oh, wonderful. I think that is very good news. Honorable Makebi Zulu, let's go to issues of the country. What purposed you, what drove you to join hands with Honorable Makebi, with Honorable Brian Mundubile? Because I think this has been a call on Honorable Brian Mundubile, on yourself, and on all the leaders in the opposition, whether it's Honorable Harry Kalawa, Dr. Fred Membe, you know, KBF, and others. There is pressure on all of you to come together. And this union provided some hope, but others are saying this is a PF alliance. Just answer that question, and are there measures to go out to the rest of the opposition so that you can hold hands?
I think we're coming from a backdrop where every one of us was talking about the issue of unity. But I think very few were willing to live up to that call for unity. Because every one of us knows we have something to offer to our country. We know what we've prepared for all this while. We know that we have people that believe in us, trust us, and we know that they would rather you take up the top position. That is a fact that that almost everyone would stand by. However, if we are going to be people that are going to keep our word to the Zambian people, the ones we seek to serve, to say we are capable of coming together, it must be demonstrated. I don't believe that politics should be without morality or without ethics. I think we all have to live up to our word, because a man is only as good as his word. So, in that particular case, if we are going to tell the Zambian people that we will come together and they embrace the coming together and they have endorsed the coming together, then we do them good to come together. It is no wonder that upon the announcement of our union, you notice how that most of the Zambians' hope was restored. Those that said they would not vote in this particular election came back and said, "We are going to vote because you have come together." At that particular point, it was not known as to who was going to be first and who was going to be second. But in this particular case, we agreed to say, listen, what we are fighting for is bigger than who is holding what position. We have to agree that we are going to be of one mind. You do recall in the Bible when the children of Israel were building the Tower of Babel, the Bible says that God saw that they spoke one language and they were one. And he said, if they continue like this, nothing will stop them. So, motivated by the idea of being one and the slogan of saying, together we can, we decided, let's sit down, let's serve the Zambian people, let's agree on what we're going to do for the Zambian people. And we seem to be of one mind that we need to restore the rule of law. We need to restore the dignity or integrity of our system, the separation of powers. We need to do all that. Before all that, Brian and I are friends. We were both provincial ministers appointed by President Edgar Chagwa. We used to sit next to each other, and we did our masters in constitution and administrative law together. So we are that close. We know each other in and out, and we know what bothers the other and what doesn't. We know how to talk to each other. So in this particular case, we had a candid discussion to say, listen, let us make this about Zambia. If we can agree on these fundamentals that we are about Zambia, I'm willing even to take up the second position so that we can together motivate the Zambians towards a changed Zambia. But this relationship is only going to work if it is about Zambia. And my brother gave me his word and my word, and we are giving you our word as Zambians that this is about you. This is not only a response to a call for unity, it is also a patriotic response to the way that our country is, to say we need to fix this. And we can only fix this together. I don't have to be on top to fix this. But if we are going to sit and agree to say these are the fundamentals, then we can still work together and come up with something. That is what informed that decision. And so far we're doing very well. We agreed, of course, that we're going to field candidates in different places. For Copperbelt and Lusaka, we've agreed between ourselves that within this week we are going to harmonize and ensure that in every constituency there is one candidate, because we don't want our candidates to be competing amongst each other. We want the candidates that we agreed were going to stand to be the ones to stand. The ticket that we agreed was going to be used to be the one to be used. Of course, there will be issues that will have to be dealt with, where persons refused so to comply, and we've agreed on a modus operandi as to how best we can compel them to ensure that we come together, collectively win this election for Zambia. People that are looking forward to a change of government, and they are looking forward to us demonstrating that we are able to agree and can be trusted with responsibility to take care of the country. And we'll start by demonstrating this responsibility to unite ourselves before we can unite the country, which is so much divided.
Thank you very much. Let me turn to the president. Mr. President, the burden on you is extremely heavy. You are the flag bearer. You are carrying this vision for both alliances. How are you dealing with this? Because Zambians are looking for a solution. The state of our country is pitiful. The state of our economy, the abuse of human rights, the isolation we are suffering, worldwide. The country is in dire strait, and the people of Zambia are looking up to strong leadership. Are you able to provide that leadership? Are you able to form a team, to consult with one another? Just give us some insights.
Yes, thank you, Ambassador. Maybe before I tackle that question, I just want to add to what my brother earlier said. Your question was that because we are both from PF, and others may feel it's just the reunion or PF coming together. If you look at the Tonse PF Pamosi Alliance, we have a number of presidents that did not necessarily come from the PF. I have in mind State Council Chifomu Banda, who's the president for FDD. He's been vice president until the demise of President Nawakwi. You have President Sakwiba Skota. You have President Nasser Musoni. You have President Nawa, Reverend Nawa. You have President Bright Musoma. You have President Kopulande Sebastian. You have President Kapembwa Simbao. You have President Sinkamba, President Mwenya Musenge, among others. So clearly, this alliance has other people that came from other political parties. But if you look at the history of Zambian politics, at one time, Ambassador, we were all UNIP. And then we all later became MMD. At least for those that went into politics early, majority were actually MMD. From MMD, people went into FDD, others went into National Party, PF came, and many other political parties. So when you look at the background, you note that we have a common background as to which political parties we belonged to previously. So that may not be the issue. And again, like my brother said, we had to agree on the fundamentals. We looked at what was urgent for the country. We realized that addressing the issues of poverty were urgent to this country. Addressing the issues of corruption were urgent to this country. So we sat down to agree on how we're going to fight poverty. We sat down to agree on how we're going to reduce vulnerability for our citizens, to make every Zambian count. We began to look at issues to do industrialization, to champion job creation. We looked at how citizens have been treated previously. So we agreed to move the Zambians from the margins to the center of policy and economic transformation, making the youths the drivers of this transformation. So once we agreed on those fundamentals, we said, my brother, let's do this for Zambia. And that's exactly how we found ourselves where we are. So as regards the team, if you look at the people that we have in the alliance put together, and those that we are talking to outside, we really have what it takes to deliver for and on behalf of the Zambian people. My job as president is to assemble a competent team a team that will be able to respond to the many aspirations of the Zambian people. And so far, from the meetings that we've had between my brother and other people, we have capacity locally. We have capacity within the alliance and beyond to assemble a team that would deliver on behalf of the Zambian people. So what was important, Emmanuel, was to agree on where we're going to take the country. Like I said, police reform without state reform has previously failed the Zambian people. So we're going to look at the basic structure of government so that even as we come up with new policies, the foundation would have been worked on. You also note that in whatever we have put a Zambian at the center, and this Zambian that we have put at the center is not any other Zambian. We have picked on the most vulnerable. When we talk about Nakulu Mutinta Nemisepela Pamakasa, we are looking at the most vulnerable member of society, so that our policy formulation is informed by the circumstances surrounding this particular Zambian. Emmanuel, you note that even our friends in the EPND, they've talked about policies which at the face of it look like good policies. The question that you should ask, why is it that on the other hand, an ordinary person is complaining every day? The cost of mealie meal, the cost of basics, youth still remain unemployed. So if at all the policies that they have are working, who are they working for? And that is our starting point. We are putting our people, removing them from the margins and placing them at the center of policy and economic transformation, so that the policies are not in a vacuum, they're not in the air. They should address challenges that our people are facing. We are looking at lived realities. So the policies must immediately impact on the people on the street, not policies that are praised by people outside this jurisdiction. Yes, we've got businessmen. We have nothing against investors. They must invest and get their profits. But what we are saying is that as the investors are posting their profits, it's also good to see Zambians smiling as they would have benefited from these good policies. So in sum, all we are saying is that our policies will respond to lived realities. They will not be policies in the air. Whether we are talking about the fight against corruption, we are going to talk about practical steps on how we're going to address it. If we're talking about unemployment, we have come out in the open to say, one, we're going to focus on industrialization. This industrialization will start with the mining sector to lead the value, as it were. There will be value chain centers within the agricultural sector, tourism sector, and many other sectors. And we know that from these reforms and these policies, we are going to create employment. Emmanuel, you know that to fight poverty, you must create employment. And to create employment, you must industrialize. And to industrialize, you must invest. So these are practical steps that we are taking for and on behalf of the Zambian people, taking into account the most vulnerable member of the society.
Wonderful, wonderful. I like that last line. It's a good soundbite. Honorable Makebi Zulu, I think the country is fractured. The divisions are truly worrying. We are divided by ethnic lines. We are divided, other than the ordinary classes that were divided, the poor and the rich. But now the divisions have gone to families, to tribes, and many people are afraid of where this country is. What will you, your team, with the leader, Honorable Brian Mundubile, do to bring back the unity that this country was renowned for?
We agreed on the bottom line. And we know that even all these policies that we want to bring across will not count for anything. Even the transformation that we desire will not count for anything if we do not change the governance structure of this country. It is not proper for us to continue with the kind of governance system that we have and expect different results. We do not need to have a system that relies on good people for work and flourish or respond to the needs of the people. What we agreed on is that we need to work on the fundamental document that we have. That is the Constitution. We need a new Constitution altogether so that we may have systems that work for the Zambian people, not systems that work for the incumbent. In the event that you have another Hakainde Hichilema, you want him to be governed by a document to say there are certain things that can be done, there are certain things that should be done without necessarily exploiting what the law necessarily is or what the law was necessarily intended to achieve. In this particular case, we do not want a governance system that changes laws to fit a particular situation. For example, Bill 7. Bill 7 was never about the people of Zambia. Bill 7 is a bill that belongs to the UPND. It was intended to serve the needs of the UPND insofar as it related to delimitation of constituencies, just so that those that are there, they reduce on the competition that they would face in those constituencies. Has it worked? Maybe not, because we're seeing the cracks that are there now. But we're saying let's have a governance system where there's police reforms, there's judicial reforms that are going to respond to the needs of the people. You reactivate the office of the public protector to be able to do their job and be a check on the system, or at least on officers in government. Reforms in the civil service that are not going to be discriminatory in the have been. Bring back professionalism that ought to be there. That is something that we have been looking to do. That is something that we're going to do, because these divisions that we have occurred in this country have not occurred organically. They've occurred because of politics. They've occurred because politicians have sought to politicize the civil service. They've sought to politicize even our way of life. I never had to ask my brother what tribe he was. The first thing I saw was a friend. I don't care what tribe is from. And I'm sure that's the same issue when it comes to everyone else. But this time around, you have to ask or get favors by reason of your name. Why should it be like that? Why should we continue like that? Why don't we spread these opportunities to everyone across board without necessarily looking at who they are or where they come from? That is very unnecessary, and that can only be done if we are going to change our governance system. And I'm sure everyone out there agrees that we need to have institutions that are strong, institutions that respond to the aspirations of the Zambians, institutions that respect the concept of one Zambia and one nation, and not a funny database that exists only amongst a few, and no one knows how names got or found themselves onto that database, and how that database only produces names for people from a particular region. Nobody knows how that is happening. What we want is transparency. What we want is accountability. What we want is responding to the needs and aspirations of the people. Because after all is said and done, power is temporary. We are going to leave. Someone else is going to take up these positions. And that person who takes up these positions should not be the one to determine the course that this country is going to take. We should fashion that in the document, in the founding documents that we have, so that everyone is just following through what the founding documents desire that we should take. And that way, we're going to deal with this issue of divisions.
Thank you very
So
much.
maybe I can add something there, Ambassador.
Yes, please.
Yes, like my brother said, Zambia is divided. Our country is divided. So we are going to go straight to look at what brings about this division. So if you look at employment opportunities, when there's no equitable distribution of employment opportunities across the regions, this brings about this causes division. If you look at the selective application of the law, this also brings about division. So what we have decided, like like we mentioned earlier, to address division and bring about unity. Number one, will be focused on depoliticizing the civil service, professionalizing the civil service. Once we implement a merit-based recruitment approach within the civil service, we begin to reduce divisions. Once we look at reforming our justice system to ensure that we depoliticize the law enforcement system, we depoliticize the justice system, and ensure that we have an independent judiciary, we begin to reduce division, because the actions of these organs of the state are fueled, this division, as it were. At the same time, Ambassador, we are going to look at reforms, coming up with measures that will ensure that even between me and my brother, we follow the Constitution. It's not enough to have a good Constitution. The provisions of the Constitution must be implemented. How do we make sure that these provisions are implemented? Currently, we have certain safeguards and watchdogs which have not been actualized. He talked about the Office of the Public Protector. We also, like in other jurisdictions, will come up with something like the Constitution Implementation Commission. It's a commission that looks at the implementation of the Constitution. If at all we had such an institution, for instance, and you look at the provisions of Article 259, Article 259 mandates an appointing authority to make appointments taking into account diversity, age, among others. So clearly, there must be a body that ensures that all those who should make appointments are making these appointments in accordance with the Constitution. So we are looking at reforms that will force whoever is in office to be able to follow the law. And I'm sure that once we embark on a merit-based recruitment approach, once we depoliticize the civil service, once we professionalize the civil service, and put in certain reforms that protect constitutionalism, we should be able to narrow the widening gap insofar as these divisions are concerned. So we are determined, and we're very sure that we will achieve. Many Zambians, even those that may benefit from these divisions at the moment, have realized that this country cannot go forward if we continue to be divided. So these are some of the areas that we would want to look at.
Yes, indeed, Mr. President. My question to you, one of them came from civil society, because I'd asked people to send questions in advance. They are worried first about transparency and accountability, and they feared that President Hakainde Hichilema didn't declare his assets. Of course, the law does give loopholes in which these assets that are declared to ECZ are never made public. Are you willing, or are you going to demand that the assets for all the 14 of you that have, and your running mates, that have been filed in successfully, should be made public? The second item is the fear of our people, that we have onset tyranny and a dictatorship, the passing of Bill 7, cyber crimes laws that have literally shut our people, the appointments of up to 50 judges without a proper process, and sale of state assets. There are all these concerns, and our people fear that we could have gone so far away to restore our country. Does your alliance recognize the depth to which our country has sunk? I think those two questions, they can be complemented by both of you.
Yes, Ambassador. My brother and I sit in a very unique position. Like he said in his introductory remarks, we actually sat in the same class as we were studying constitutional and administrative law at master's level. So we strongly believe in constitutional fidelity. Ambassador Mwamba, it is said the greatness of a nation is judged from its fidelity to the Constitution. So for me and my brother, that's our starting point. Unfortunately, it's something that we cannot escape. It's something that we hold very dear. So it's expected that insofar as maintaining maintaining the constitutional order is non-debatable. It should be translated in local languages. And most importantly, there must be some civic education. People must understand what the Constitution is. They must understand the basic ingredients that will go in the Constitution and how the Constitution helps to shape society. Once the people have appreciated that, then they begin to contribute to how they want to be governed. Once we've come up with a good Constitution, we will ensure that that Constitution is fully implemented. We know that one of the things to look at that have been of serious concern is, for instance, the appointment of judges. Yes, we know that many Zambians have raised concerns. These concerns have not only been raised by ordinary citizens, but even within the profession. So once we implement the reforms, we expect that those brothers and sisters that will ascend to judgeship should be men and women of impeccable repute, people that will be able to discharge their functions with diligence, with excellence, so that even ordinary members of society can begin to rebuild confidence in our justice system, not as the case is today. So those are some of the areas that we'll look at. And as regards declaration of assets, this is an imperative. It's a must. You can't talk about fighting corruption when you're taking over levers of power and you don't declare your assets. You don't want anybody to know your starting line. Between my brother and I, we are saying we will demand that even the 14 that are filed in, our declarations must be made public, so that 2-3 years later, the Zambian people can audit. They can audit our assets. They can audit what we have acquired in that period. We cannot fight corruption when we don't come to the table with open hands, with clean hands. So President Hakainde Hichilema has found it very difficult to fight corruption because from the beginning, he began by keeping his declaration secret. One wonders why. He went ahead, he went after opposition leaders, arrested them, threw them in jail, accusing them of corruption, accusing them of theft. And yet he himself did not declare what he came in with. So it's very, very important that as leaders, not only, but even those that will be appointed to positions of ministers, should be able to declare their assets like they always do to Parliament. And these declarations must be made public so that the Zambian people can participate, can bring information. If one under-declares and some neighbor is aware of other assets that are not included, come and whisper. We have leaders in government today that were preaching about lifestyle audits not very long ago. The moment they got into government, they abandoned that topic, as it were. So we want to put up a genuine fight against corruption by reforming how the Anti-Corruption Commission works, the reporting system at the Anti-Corruption Commission, but at the same time ensuring that as leaders we remain so that we can justify our assets, we can justify what we own after our term of office or within that period. That's the only way you can fight genuinely.
Thank you very much. Honorable Makebi Zulu, you've heard the ruling party boast because there is a decision for an alternative government, but the ruling party has a standard argument that they've resolved the crisis of the economy, that they've $6.5 billion in foreign reserve, the inflation rate is single digit, they've rescheduled the debt, free education has brought up to 2.5 million people on board, and that CDF has is a resource that has been brought to the local area, and they ask, what opposition, what can you do, what are your alternative policies? Please speak to that.
See, it's a mockery to the people of Zambia when you're going to talk about we have 6.5 billion in foreign reserves, all that talk, graphs, and everything that is going there. And yet our debt has ballooned from about 13 to 14 billion dollars to 26 billion dollars. So if you're going to have a debt of 26 billion dollars and it has ballooned from about 14, what have you done with that money that was there? Why do you have these monies in reserves when you are owing so much? Where is that money coming from? All those questions need to be asked. You are saying that the inflation rate has gone down. Why isn't it translating to food at household level? Why isn't it translating to the prosperity of Zambians? Why is it that all this talk about life being better in Zambia is only supposedly being felt by those that are in government? It means there is something that is fundamentally wrong. We are saying, can't we have this feeling of improvement in the economy beyond graphs, digits, and numbers to bringing it down to a household level? Development is a new formula for determining the development of the country is at household level. Do people afford 3 meals in a day today? You argue to say we brought in free education. Free education from what has it become free? People were paying 150 kwacha to 200 kwacha as fees in schools. Then you say we have removed this 150 kwacha or 200 kwacha from the fees. Then you increase the price of milling, you increase the price of cooking oil, you increase the price of all these amenities such that all that saving of 150 kwacha is not felt at household level. The very children that you wish to go into school are going back home where there's no food. The very children who are supposed to go to school where donors were helping you to feed them have pulled out, saying that we can no longer help you because you're not transparent in the manner that you deal with resources. You're not accountable in that you deal with our resources. At this time of UPND, we have seen how that those that help this country, those that have assisted us in different areas, have pulled back of issues of transparency and accountability. The government of President Hakainde Hichilema has been found wanting. The Americans have pulled out. European Union have withheld most of their funding that they used to help them because of issues of transparency and accountability. Even when approached and asked to account, those that were supposed to be found wanting are going with a slap on the wrist. And the people that were giving you this money, the Americans are saying, why have you done this? Why haven't you been accountable enough? This money is for the people of Zambia. It's not for those that are governing Zambia. It is for the people of Zambia to enjoy, or at least to improve the living standards of the people of Zambia. Now, all these things have been happening because the systems of governance have been weakened. I did refer to issues to do with the judiciary. And you will recall, Ambassador, that the first thing that this government did was to weaken the judiciary. How did they weaken the judiciary? With the security of tenure of office holders, especially in the judiciary. You weaken them because they begin to be afraid of losing their job. It's for that reason that you have judgments such as the Mopani one, where the judiciary is saying, well, it's okay, you can dispose of assets without the approval of Parliament. It is because you weakened the judiciary by making it easy to fire judges that they could even renege on their own judgment. after 4 times ruling on the eligibility of ECL, they decide to change their mind on the eligibility of ECL. It is because you've weakened the judiciary that they can't even declare the Cyber Crimes Act unconstitutional. Because you have this big brother who's watching over their shoulders and who has made it very easy to fire a judge. And the judiciary itself has not helped in this matter. Because when they were faced with the situation of the DPP and how the procedures that are to be followed were akin to those that were to be followed for getting rid of a judge, in their minds, they were looking at an individual. But when they dealt with that individual and that individual went away, the chickens came back home to roost, and they were haunted by their own decision. In that now, someone can just wake up, sit in the morning, decide there's a prima facie case, sit in the afternoons, and decide that you should no longer be judged. And by evening, the president says, go home. We have to strengthen the institutions of governance. We have to strengthen the judiciary. We have to secure the tenure in office of the judges. Then we'll have justice prevail. Then there will be a proper check on the government. On the government. Here they are. They've appointed 50 judges. What was the procedure for dealing with these 50 judges? You know how rigorous the system is supposed to be. You know how that they're supposed to appear before a committee and be interrogated, other stakeholders to come in and talk to them and also present themselves in a period of 2 weeks. Dealt with 50 judges and questioned, and they're going to sit and determine matters. We've not ascertained where they are coming from and whether they're deeply rooted. We've seen others coming in all the way from outside straight to the Supreme Court when there are files that are lying at the Anti-Corruption Commission to deal with that. What was the rush of getting all these judges in? Unless there are ill intentions of wanting to this manipulation of the judiciary, there's no way you would rush through 50 judges just like that. It was really necessary. So in view of all this, we are saying, let us prioritize accountability, let us prioritize transparency, let us prioritize constitutionalism. This issue of the Cyber Crimes Act, it is keeping most people out of the country. Not because they did anything wrong, but because they disagree with what government started. You put them on the red list. They can't come into the country. They come in, you get them at the airport and subject them to a system that is designed or rigged to convict them. There is Honorable Nakachinda, who is facing such injustice at this particular point, because even the judiciary is afraid to deal with his matters. It is time to set button. It is time for Zambians to wake up and say, this is not the Zambia we want. This is not the Zambia we subscribe to. This is not what we meant when we said Bali should fix it. Bali has failed to fix the system. And
thank you, Honorable Makebi Zulu. Let me throw the same question to the president. And I know you are all busy doing a lot of things and we have to release you as soon as possible. But let me bring in the president on the same question. When you hear the successes that the UPND parrot, although the food basket is at its highest, but I say we've resolved all these issues. We've even reopened the mines and we've ended political violence. Just an answer to that, Mr. President. Hello, Honorable Mundubile. I think my technical team, can.
Yes.
Yeah. I don't know if you heard my question. Yeah.
Yes, I did. I
Thank
did.
You.
So, Ambassador Mwamba, as Tonse PF Pamosi Alliance, we believe that development should be felt before it's talked about. So what we have today is development that is just talked about, and that development is not felt by the Zambian people. So when you look at where we are, I'm sorry that we can't avoid to look at the performance of the UPND in the last 5 years. So many things have happened, Ambassador Mwamba. Let's assume that the UPND got into government and just sat there and did nothing. Where would we have been? If they had just gotten into government, do nothing, but ensure that the state institutions are functioning, the economy would have actually been better. Because today, Comrade Emmanuel, you've seen that the UPND are running a consumption economy because all their budgets are consumption budgets. If I remind you, if you look at the PF, for instance, the highest budget under the Patriotic Front was 120 billion. That was in the 2021 budget. The first budget under the UPND was 100 kwacha, which was 50 billion over and above the highest budget under the PF. So when we did the numbers, we had done numbers after 4 years and established that the UPND had approved up to 900 billion kwacha in budgets in year 4. Compared to the same period under the PF, we were around 470 billion. So you've got 900 billion in 4 years. There was 470 billion on the other side. So if you look at development, for instance, Comrade Emmanuel Mwamba, let's start with, which is a flagship project for the UPND. Flagship CDF was only 19 billion after 4 years. They had only disbursed up to 19 billion kwacha. The question that begs, 20 billion from 900 billion, where did the 800 billion go? Where did they spend the 800 billion? Like we said earlier, development should be felt even before it's talked about. We challenged the Vice President on the floor of the House to tell us just 2 projects they had done in the 4 years that had been in power. And the Vice President could not answer that question. Why? Because the UPND has been running consumption budgets. Our solution will go for the production and growth-led strategies. We'll be focused more on industrialization. Which is enough money in this country to industrialize. So once we plug the leakages, you have leakages. If you look at the FIC reports, within 4 years, there were up to $10 billion in illicit financial flows reported under the FIC. So let's book that amount, Ambassador. You had $2.5 billion, which was owed to the ZCCM-IH, Zambian government, which was illegally repatriated to some foreign company by a mining house. The matter was before the police, and before it could progress, Comrade Musokotwane went and withdrew that matter. You had 1 billion liability to ZRA by one mining house, and we were told a decision was made, and that company only paid 23 billion. So you actually, just in these flows, even before we talk about corruption, this country lost over $13 billion. So, Comrade Mwamba, let's say we looked at this $13 billion and employed it in the economy. Today, we would have been talking about free education, not only when it comes to fees. We would have been talking about uniforms as part of free education. We would have been talking about books as part of free education. We would have been talking about some basic transport. We would have been talking about sports as part of free education. So today, the free education that we talk about is only to do with the 200 kwacha that was removed for fees. I want to put it clearly. We will maintain free education, but we are going to do more under the free education policy. Because like I've demonstrated, just in the past 5 years, there's been enough money to do more under free education than the EPND has done. If, for instance, they had put up measures to stop these illicit flows, we would have been able to pay for books, for uniforms, and even transport in some cases under free education. We would have been able to pay even up to 1,200 kwacha in social cash transfer per month, as opposed to 800 kwacha in 2 months. So when you look at the performance of the economy, it doesn't matter what the EPND can say today. The truth of the matter, Ambassador Mwamba, is that the UPND's performance, insofar as the economy is concerned, has been dismal. And Zambians have regretted believing the EPND when they were promising heavens. They promised jobs. They promised lower prices of essential commodities. What is the position today? So Zambians cannot bask in the joy of single-digit inflation. They cannot continue to bask in 5 billion worth of reserves when the economy is performing poorly, as it were. So from where we stand, the comrade Emmanuel Mwamba, we believe in putting Zambians first. The policies that will come up with will be those that will address the lived realities of the Zambian people. How did you expect to grow the economy, for instance, Comrade Mwamba, when we had 3 years of deficits in terms of load shedding? Because government had prioritized export of power as opposed to providing power to SMEs. How did we expect to create employment when our small and medium enterprises were folding every day? So when colleagues come up and they begin screaming figures on how the economy has grown, we ask questions. On what basis? If this economy has had no power for 3 years, what miracle have you performed to grow this economy? So we are resolved. We want to embark on a program where we promote agriculture for job creation, and this is by creating agro-processing zones. We are going to ensure that our mining sector takes a lead in the industrialization transformation. We'll ensure that tourism contributes meaningfully, to the GDP. And of course, we'll also ensure that we promote the digital economy so that our youths and many other people can begin to participate in this economy. And also, tapping on the talent that many of our youths have, we're talking about creative arts. We want to ensure that we transform creative arts into an economic sector where our young people participate meaningfully in these particular sectors. And of course, the so-called Jerabos, the small-scale miners, we are going to formalize that sector. And we know, even from the evidence we have from Ghana, that we can get meaningful contributions from these economies. So the economy has not performed under the EPND. There is no evidence to show that the economy has performed.
Thank you very much. Mwashako na kulumutinta, your famous illustration.
Mutinta Pamakasa is the focus. If we are going to give incentives to the mining sector and they're promising to ramp up production, it must have a direct impact on Nakulumutinta Pamakasa. If we are going to talk about improving or creating value chains in the agriculture sector, it's because Kalungwishi farming block in Lunte, we employ a number of people in that area, including Abeshkuru Akwana Kulumutinta. So, like I said earlier, we are moving these vulnerable Zambians from the margins to the center of policy and economic transformation. So Nakulumutinta is there through and through, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Please drink some water, Mr. President, and the running mate, Honorable Makebi Zulu. We'll take some calls and also resolve some issue, but I think so far, so good. We'll let you go, not make you stay for long, but we'll leave the program for people to call that will not manage to call in this short period. So we'll take a commercial break to allow our leaders to drink some water. When I come back from the other side, let's hear from you.
Natasha Tumone. Bayu ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile. Bamayona batata mule fire nani. Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile. Bafama nani mule fire. Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile. Kopana nani mule fire. Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile. Apana pana pa. Kasukulu nani mule fire. Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile. Come on. Balya bambi bena batu shupa pafula. Batangisha mafunda ya lufyengo no lupato. Batu patanyo kubofi mitundu nendalama. Mumayanda mulinsala business balikaka. Nomba twala chitashani. Sanika ulubuto. Saniki jitemwiko. Sanika kabwani. Sanika makwebo. Hama, hama, hama. Bayu ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile. Bamayona batata mule fire nani. Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile. Bafama nani mule fire.
The phone lines are open. I'm hosting the two presidents, President Honorable Brian Mundubile and his running mate Honorable Makebi Zulu. Let's just take just a minute. Let's take your calls quickly. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you, Ambassador Mwamba. This is Sinyangwe Dani on the line.
Yes, please be fast.
Thank you very much. President Mundubile na Vice President Makebi Zulu twatotela sana na mwisa pamo nokuombela tapamo. I'm just asking you, President Mundubile na President Makebi Zulu, using any social media to reach out to so many people, and I have some people that you need to work with, starting with Emmanuel Mwamba. Then in this group, Mundubile na Brian Makebi, incorporate people like when you need to put the family together, because we are going to use social media. Incorporate people like Beverly Moore. Incorporate people like Queen Pum. Incorporate people like Tandiwe Ketes Nkoma. Incorporate people like Blaze Zambia. Incorporate people like even our own sister who is in England, the other one, because social media is what is going to reach out to many people. Now that we're a family, let's work together as one family.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution.
My name is Alex. Good evening.
Good evening, Alex.
Yeah, first and foremost, greetings to the two white men of the land. My contribution is not a question. My contribution is direct to them, which I think they are part of the concern. They are taking the government to things of August this year. They are forming government. But they are forming a government which has a lot of focus, especially on the tribal line.
Okay, the issue of unity. Thank you very much. Thank you very much. I'll take quick questions today. If you wish to speak more, you can speak after the presidents have left. Just ask the questions so that we can allow them to answer. So one is on unity, one is on forming a team. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, good evening, Mwamba. I'm nameless, as usual. Yeah. Good evening, Mr. President and the Vice. Yeah. Can you hear me?
Please continue. Please continue. Ask your questions.
Thank you so much. Mwamba, I don't have any question to both the presidents. Yeah, I'm just trying to say that I'm a very concerned citizen of Zambia. born and bred in Zambia. Today, I find myself in a foreign country in search of a better life to sustain my family and the siblings. Yeah. Here I'm listening to both of you who have come from a long way. I mean, the two presidents. And you have seen the transformation of Zambia from what you may pronounce was better to worse. My plea to you is if you were to become the leaders of Zambia, may you please keep to your promises. Zambians are fed up with empty promises. The only person who is vulnerable is a common Zambian. So I beg you, whatever you are telling us, please keep to that. Thank you so much, Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
The only uncle to Zambia. My question goes to President Mundubile and President Makebi Zulu. What plans do you have to incorporate the informal sector into our economy? Because I know the women from Soweto contribute so much, but they've not been so much considered in our economy, including bus drivers. Then lastly, when do you start hitting the ground? You should be done, I believe, by this month. You should be done by, going throughout Lusaka, begin to go out, to the outside of Lusaka in these other provinces to campaign. I thank you.
Okay, thank you very much. Let me take two more last ones and we ask the presidents to answer. Then we'll let the presidents answer and then they'll go. Then you can come and call. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Thank you so much, Kapia.
Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Abraham Runi Kapia.
Runi Kapia, make your contribution.
Yeah, thank you so much, Mwamba. Na totela sana pa kumfanya tungulushi soko shiranda definitely actually challenge chino pantanshi. Na chako fe konsendi na mshua na posta ko ifi ashala. But you tell folk mono ko bati na ama positions yote mono ko bati monesa ngama ama adoptions ya require. Babombe po wangu sana. So that tuikwata makandidates babiri ningufwali ntimo pakumva kulanda ko balanjiro kwe bati barebombera pabushikuba mayiro kutukafuma kwa mariza usasi mukwe bati bakwata makandidates umo ma constituencies monse na ma wards monse pantu fika tuchita affect na imwe bene ba president nga mwaisa mu campaign chakula mishupa ngakuya abantu babiri ku campaign makula campaign na wisa so apo pena apo mulangu chibeshani mubomberepo efuna chirafa bakulanda bwana na totela.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give your question.
Good evening, Ambassador Niwamunko.
Mkwaiba Munkonge, please proceed.
When Ambassador Pakuchikubuelero, Shkwete po question here on Sepante. President, Vice President Makebi Zulu, Timumabuko asked to receive. Lelo konsenye nkwete munchira imwela monika kwa nyachpai nde barombuko since na bakwata ama parties within the alliance babule walia abali muri ali ama alliance ya campaign bali abale sulu twagina bena abaendere na barungu campaign ile ya mineko mu 2021 babe kwati bababika kukunuma Oropari uraona umuru wa president wa Maranzi wabure kona aba yufi ntungurusha ama yufi bamunkonge ma strategies ayo mlefu aya mwali kwata manamba ya ntungulushi na ma secretaries babo mubatumine. Thank you very much. Yeah. People are advising about teams. I think please reach out to the leadership and see how you can. I want good questions. Maybe let me take the last two and then we come on.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from. Hello, caller. There are so many calls and they are all. Just let's start with the lady first. Hello, Mama. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and give us your contribution. Mkwayimayo.
President ba Mundubile na ba Vice President ba Makebi Zulu. Ifefile bachilanda bale ba brother kwe bati. Na tukwate ntungurushu ma constituency mbi chimini. So mfule mwaikala panshi mwalansha kwa bati twala kampena chani pali aba abantu babiri. Bantunga mwasenda wakuri na kuri ba Mundubile bose mwaminika nishama vote ya Lubana.
Mkwayimayo, your question now, Basuka. I'll come and explain. Thank you very much. Let me provide guidance. This is how we are going to go about it. Let's allow the presidents to come on. The presidents will answer the questions. Then we'll release the presidents. And then you can call because the phones are jammed. And you know, there are a lot of things that they are doing. They still have meetings before they retire to bed. So presidents, please pick those about 5-6 questions. And to all callers, please, you come and have your say after the presidents have gone. Let's start with Honorable Makebi Zulu. Then we end with Honorable Brian Mundubile. And in your answers, you can give your last remarks. Just a minute. I lost you there. I hope you are back. Yeah, I hope you are back. There was no volume. You can speak now.
Yes, my brother and I agreed on this very fundamental issue. The unity that we wish to foster is not only between myself and himself, but is unity in the country, unity amongst those that feel Makebi Zulu has got something to offer, and those that feel that Brian Mundubile has something to offer. We need to bring, or indeed bridge this gap, and ensure that we make this campaign about Zambia. We make this campaign about unity. The cause for unity, we have continued to preach unity. We're still talking to our colleagues on the political scene to say how best can we work together. It is from that we're saying, let us bring together, or at least have single candidates in almost all the constituencies to maximize on the number of government that we're going to have for purposes of effecting the change that the Zambians really want. And my mother did call to say we need to keep these very promises that are that are being made, because there are people that are in foreign countries trying to earn a living, trying to make life better, not only for themselves but for their families as well. We want that every investment that you put back home as you are working there is worth it. Not a situation where the exchange rate is not even supporting you. We have a duty to you as Zambians in the diaspora to ensure that your investment in Zambia is worth it. But not only do we want you to invest back home in Zambia, we want that when you return to Zambia, you will be able to find opportunities you went out to look for. We want an economy that will respond to the needs and aspirations of the Zambians. We want to protect every Zambian who has able to say what they have to say. to protect every Zambian who has a dream to be able to achieve and realize that dream in Zambia. How do we do that? We need your cooperation. We need you to be able to wake up on the 13th of August and vote correctly. Because this time around, we are saying let us have a holistic approach towards development. Let us not rely on good people taking over our government. Let us ensure that even the good or bad people are regulated in the manner they'll conduct themselves, and they'll conduct themselves in the best interest of the Zambians. You did ask what plans do you have to incorporate the informal sector into the economy. These are discussions that we have had with my brother here, and I'll allow him. I'll let him tackle that particular point, because we had extensive discussions around this. We had extensive discussions around observance of human rights, and my brother Rune Kapia and the one that called to say, let us work to have single candidates. We are working on those, and we are committed to that. And comment on those issues. Rest assured that even as you go to bed tonight, we have your best interest at heart. Even as you go to bed tonight, rest assured that we will not deviate from the mission that you have given us. It is not our duty to come up with what we want for Zambia. It is for you, Zambians, to tell us what exactly you want. And you've made it abundantly clear that you need Zambia. You need a focused Zambia. You need a transparent Zambia. You need an accountable Zambia. Zambia where level. You need a Zambia where agriculture is prioritized and the dividends are seen in the economy. Mining dividends are seen in the economy and benefit the Zambians. We need a Zambia that is clean and sustainable, and that is what we're going to work at. I will let the president do sum up and respond on these issues that we have discussed, as these are things that we've discussed, and I think he's better placed to address you on them.
Yes, thank you very much. The Vice President has tackled a number of issues, a number of questions that were raised. I'll start with our sister who called from the diaspora. She talked about us keeping our promise. My dear sister, that is the starting point. The starting point is that we are going out the social contract with the Zambian people. We are putting out a manifesto that is a social contract. So to give you comfort, our starting point, you see from our manifesto, is that we are moving Zambians, we are moving vulnerable citizens from the margins to the center of policy and economic transformation. What that means is that we actually focused on you. We are focused on the Zambians. We contrasted that with what has been happening. There could be good policies out there, but the question has been good for who? They may have been good for the investors, but certainly not good for the Zambian people. That is why you have reports of a performing economy on one hand and the report of the suffering Zambians on the other. So we looked at that gap and made it our starting point that Zambians will no longer be at the margins. They will no longer be in the margins. They'll be at the center of this transformation. Starting with Nakulu Mutinta. Now, Nakulu Mutinta is a poor Zambian. This is a typical Zambian, a Zambian faced with all the problems that you can think of. And this is the person we're putting at the center of this transformation. I just want to give you comfort. But we've gone further. Like my brother, the Vice President, said earlier, we've taken a lot of time to also listen. We've listened to the civil servants. For instance, we've been listening to the teachers. Today, you've got about 50,000 teachers. There's a backlog of about 50,000 teachers who require to be upgraded. The salaries they're earning may be at certificate level, yet some of them have gone up to master's level, others at PhD, and there's been no upgrades. These are serious anomalies because in terms of human development, they've gone out of their way to improve themselves, and they're offering a better service, to our citizens, and yet they are not being compensated for it. So we'll be very specific. We'll move in cases like this to make sure that we effect these upgrades so that people can be compensated correctly for what they're supposed to be. When you talk about civil servants again, in general, we've listened to them. They have talked about swap. They are saying government owes us money in allowances, arrears, leave days, and all that. And because there's been stagnation in terms of wages and salaries, we are forced to borrow just to make ends meet. And when we borrow, our creditors have sometimes even foreclosed on our, and yet government owes us money. Why can't we swap this debt? Because government should act as a big brother and make it easy. You see, what we believe in our alliance, Ambassador Mwamba, you don't kill the goose that lays the golden egg. If you come up with good policies and the civil service is not motivated, how will they perform? You have servicemen, for instance, looking after the country, and then they have a notch adjustment system that does not work, like is the case for the teachers. They are demotivated, so you don't expect them to provide a very good service, as it were. So this is our starting point. And one, we have debt swap. They've also talked to us about the lump sum payments with the pension schemes like NAPSA. We tried the partial withdrawal. They've come to realize that many of them actually were not able to use that money because of the quantum, given the many challenges that they're faced with. And they've said, we're better off with the lump sum payment so that we can do something out of that money. They're also demanding that there should be flexibility where they're able to switch between pension schemes without any difficulties. Ambassador Mwamba, we have listened to the farmers. We understand the challenges the farmers are facing. And we're saying farmers have been unable to migrate from a FISIP into the interval. We are talking about increasing the quantum of support. But we've gone further. We've gone further to say we are going to activate the 12 farming blocks that are dotted across the country. And these farming blocks, we will attract investments, but at the same time, government will do its part in terms of backbone infrastructure in these farming blocks so that they can provide primary employment to people around those areas. And after 3 years, we expect these farming blocks to be fully fledged agro-processing industries, agro-processing parks. They should be able to create an average of 30,000 per farming block in terms of jobs. So we have listened to the farmers. We know that some farmers who are getting support through FISIP, others will get support from anchor farmers within the farming blocks through outgrower schemes, as it were. We have listened to the miners and the challenges that they're facing. We are saying there's a lot of, these miners play a pivotal role in making these mines succeed. So mines are posting profits, yet there's been stagnation in terms of salaries for these miners. To be able to improve the living conditions of these miners, we are going to look at what we're calling sectoral minimum wages. These are minimum wages specific to a sector. If a driver works for Mopani, another driver works for a subcontractor working within Mopani, their salary scales should be around the same. Because many mining houses, they've been escaping these responsibilities by outsourcing or subcontracting most of the activities, as it were. So to protect the miners, we set up these sectoral minimum wages. This will be across the sectors. It will even tackle for people like our drivers, the younger drivers, our taxi drivers, our truck drivers, because the minimum wages will be specific to a sector. That way we'll protect our workers. And further, for taxi drivers, like somebody had asked, maybe we have set up these minimum wages. As government, we'll also come up with initiatives where our youths will come up with a scheme where we give incentives and empowerment programs like Drive to Own, so that our youths do not age, do not grow old just driving somebody's vehicle. They should be able to drive up to some point and the vehicle converts to them. These are some of the programs that we're going to embark on. Small-scale mining. This sector will be formalized. It will be a formal sector. Government will get involved. Government will do studies where these youths have been mining. Governments will take these youths into incubators and conduct some clinics where we'll train them on safe mining, we'll train them on environmental protection, and at the same time, we'll train them on financial management, as it were. So, in terms of incorporating the informal sector, yes, there are a number of initiatives that we'll take. You know that the mining sector is the biggest sector that provides a major resource to the investors. So when we interrogate, the Zambians are not really getting a good deal, especially when it comes to contracts and mine supplies. So we will legislate a law that will compel mining houses to guarantee up to 50% business to the Zambians. So the moment we do that, the person who had asked about, like marketeers, the moment we do that, for instance, on the Copper Belt, Northwestern, and these other places where we have big mining houses, we'll see an immediate change. The complexion of the business environment will change. For instance, if you have 5 billion worth of business coming from the mining sector per year, 50% of that is a guaranteed $2.5 billion worth of business. Meaning, our people on the Copper Belt and Northwestern province, those businessmen now begin to industrialize. Some of them will go into manufacturing of bolts and nuts, ball mills, and so on. So by growing the economy at that level, it will cascade down to even impact on the marketeers and other informal businesses. So for farmers maybe selling tomatoes or growing tomatoes, through CEC and through IDC, we want to introduce aggregators. We have a number of people that are keeping chickens, for instance. Chickens are sometimes sold at a loss. So we must be able to have aggregators where, as long as you've kept them well, when you take them to an aggregator, they must be able to pay you off and you go and continue keeping your chickens. The people growing tomatoes, most of the tomatoes go to waste at Soweto market because there's no market. A box of tomatoes costing 200 kwacha today, the following day is 50 kwacha. We must guarantee some minimum price where the farmers can post a profit. So by introducing aggregators, people who can value add. So government has to play a role. Remember that government is there to help its people. So government can't sit back and see tomato farmers becoming bankrupt. People who are keeping livestock, chickens, goats, becoming bankrupt. So government will play a role through aggregation, a big brother role to ensure that once you've done your part, government will offtake what you have produced. But at the same time, will ensure that you would have been keeping your chickens being supervised by extension officers, as it were. So there's a role that government has to play in what you're doing. So clearly, I think these are some of the areas that we are looking at. We are also looking at incorporating the disabled. Remember, even the disabled, the differently abled citizens are moving from the margins to the center of policy and economic transformation. The fact that we are looking at a digitally abled government, we will find our brothers who are differently abled getting into top positions in government because there's something they can do. We are interacting with most of them, and we discover that we are underutilizing, some of our youths. So, Ambassador Mwamba, those are the few responses that we can give. We'll soon start discussing sector by sector. We want to be hosted on your various platforms where we pick, for instance, the agriculture sector, and we spend an hour, 30 minutes just talking about agriculture so that our people can properly understand what we have in store for them. If it's the mining sector, we want imisepela kukikonge, kukanyelele, waishivo kuti yo kanshi tontonkanyapo. If we Implant tulefwaya ba investor waisa investor fulu kusamba greenfield ifo investor kwamba greenfield fidefuma dump site sho amisepela chesu ishikwete nchito. So we want to come and explain nokutila mwe misepela fia fintu fienu mwalatu bomfia. When we create employment, you migrate into that formal sector and be able to look after your families. So that would be my response, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you very much. Yeah, in fact, I'll be inviting, all of you who have successfully found. We want to hear your solutions. I think the country knows what the problem is. The country is looking for leadership. And for a technical assessment, I hope that you will find time in your tight campaign schedule to come back. We'll just come and speak to the solutions. Some of them, I think you've given hints and summaries to what you wish to do. Let's close this segment of the program. The next one is for just cause, so you Zambians can breathe. So I'll invite Honorable Makebi Zulu to give his last remarks, and then President Honorable Brian Mundubile also to give his last remarks. Then we will revert to you, the callers, and we'll release our leaders. Let's start with Honorable Makebi Zulu for his last remarks.
Well, in my last remarks, I would like to speak to the Zambians. This is a very important year for us as Zambia, where we are at crossroads and we have to make a decision. This decision is beyond politics or the usual things that we do on a day-to-day basis. This decision is for the heart and soul of the country. I'm very certain that none of you, given a chance, would want to leave or relive the last 4 or 5 years that we have lived for the next 5 years. These are whispers at your kitchen tables where you are not even able to express yourself publicly. But we say to you, there is hope. And that hope should not be lost at this point. Our coming together has been to restore that hope, where you're going to have a leadership that listens to you, a leadership that focuses on you, a leadership that focuses on what is in the best interest of the country. We have to move from a place where we worship politicians as though we're not the ones who put them in that place to do what we require them to do, and hold them accountable to their word, hold them accountable to the law that we put in place to govern their conduct, hold them accountable even to the very life that is said to be the lowest amongst ourselves. As my brother says, Nakulu
Pamakasa nemisepela.
Yes, we have to hold them accountable to that extent, and we are willing and open to be held accountable to that extent. Let's not make this decision based on partisan lines. Let it be about Zambia. It should be about Zambia because after we are done and after we are long gone, Zambia will still be there. The freedom that we are experiencing today, tomorrow is Africa Freedom Day, will be a point of reflection as to whether we have gained much more from the freedom that our forefathers fought for, or we are regressing. The next part of our lives is how do we make life better for that youth out there? How do we connect that youth to industry so that they are able to find a livelihood without necessarily having to look for a job? How do we empower our women so that they are able to have a livelihood that responds to their needs? This can only be done if we make the right decision. There are many things that we've talked about on this program and many other things that will unfold as we go on. And those are just about the heart and soul of the country and regaining it from what the UPN did it to. We are calling on you to make the right decision. And the decision that you're going to make is to vote Pelamp, to vote Pachola, so that we with you can make a difference that would be proud to look at and say there was a time when we thought we'd go under, but we worked for ourselves and we rescued ourselves. That is our clarion call to the Zambians. And for all out there, let us respect the issue of the opposition coming together. Let all teams now join as one and speak one voice. Let us put aside our differences and see the greater picture, and that greater picture being Zambia. My brother, we have this responsibility. We have this responsibility to deliver to the needs of the Zambian people. We are that symbol of hope to most of them. The excitement that we've experienced today, we were in Matero when we went to church.
That's right.
The other day, we were at church, at the Catholic Church, celebrating the life of Archbishop Ali Banda. And the Zambians have spoken in more words than can be further clarified, that they like the union. But beyond the union, they want us to work and respond to their call. I will hold you accountable. You have to hold me accountable.
Yes, it is.
Let's work for the Zambian people.
Yes, that's the social contract that we have. Yes, Ambassador.
I can see the Vice President has already done my work. You can just give us closing remarks, especially on the issue of hope. Our people fear that we may not have free and fair elections, that we have over 12,400 polling stations, and you, colleagues, may not, hold government accountable to ensure that the will of the people, deliver that the ballot is protected. They fear that you may not be in the 226 constituencies. They fear that although they deposit this hope in you, that it may be squandered. Please give hope and the measures that you could be doing to ensure that that vote will be protected.
Yes, the starting point, Ambassador, I saw one gentleman celebrating the seats that went unopposed. There were some seats in some region, in one of the provinces that went unopposed. That should have been a source of concern. The UPND attempted 5 times to stand. President Hakainde Hichilema attempted 5 times. And in all those 5 times, his candidates were allowed to file wherever they wanted to file. Why has it become difficult now? I would like to remind President Hakainde Hichilema that we are one Zambia, one nation. If my brother in Wengwa wants to stand independent, give him the freedom. The gentleman is on the run because they're looking for him. They want him to withdraw. What kind of democracy is that? Many of our brothers in some of these areas that are traditionally strongholds of the UPND were intimidated. They could not file. Those that managed, we asked them to file as independent candidates. Now, that should be a source of concern. And it's indeed regrettable that the government that we have today could take this democracy to its lowest ebb. It should not be the case. Let's be free to compete. Let candidates file. Let candidates compete. And let the best man win. Yes, look at what happened to our dear brother Gary Nkombo. Gary Nkombo, when I served as government chief whip, he was the pillar for the UPND on the other side. They called him Mazembe. This is the gentleman that would fight battles on the floor of the House. He contributed greatly, and everybody knows that. President Hakainde Hichilema knows that. We all know. We respected him as an opposition leader. We were equal to the task. We allowed them to do what they could do. We did not expect that a day would come for a Comrade Nkombo to be treated like that. A Comrade Mwamba, whether Gary Nkombo is UPND, he is a Zambian, he remains my brother. I have the right to speak on his behalf. And many other brothers that were hacked, beaten, all because they wanted to participate in elections. And this is the reason why Zambians are now concerned whether, these elections will be free and fair. Of course, the elections will not be free and fair, Emmanuel. That I can tell you. But what I can say also is that the will of the Zambian people will prevail. Zambians have decided, and their decision is that if in 2026 they can beat up their own members who are merely trying to compete. Imagine, Zambian people, I'm saying directly, if you gave the EPND another 5 years, what sort of a country are we going to have? If their own members, it's during their internal elections, you saw how many fights erupted within their structures. You've seen how many fights have erupted during the nomination process. In our case, Ambassador Mwamba, there have been issues as we came up as an alliance, but there is no way you're going to get reports of our people, wielding pangas and hacking themselves, like the case is with the UPND. So the UPND must understand that this is about the Zambian people, including the members of the UPND. So the very fact that they've been scaring away candidates, they've been intimidating candidates wanting to stand, has made a number of Zambians insecure. But I want to assure the Zambian people that your will certainly prevail. You have to stand firm. You have to fight on and ensure that you go and cast your vote and defend that vote. Together, we will provide the leadership. My brother and I, being in the front, will provide the leadership to see to it that we send people to those constituencies, and will of course appeal to the international community to ensure that there's presence at every polling station, so that they don't get away with an election that is marred with violence, as it were. So, Comrade Mwamba, it's a fact that President Hakainde Hichilema firstly did not want any of us to file their. It's also true that he does not want any parliamentary candidates to compete with his candidates. So that is constructive admission of failure, because if his people had performed like they were saying Kwenyu and Sot Sana, they should have allowed other people to compete. Why are they jittery when they've been reporting to a delivery of up to 95%? You can't deliver up to 95%, and you begin to parry off other candidates from standing. When you have delivered up to 95%, you should be the most comfortable candidate sitting. Your parliamentarians should have been the most comfortable. Now, because President Hakainde Hichilema knows that his government has failed, he knows that the people from their strongholds are now coming up. They are ready to change their representatives. They're actually ready to change government. They are supporting an alternative government. They have come to realize the promises the president was making were mere promises that did not deliver. So to the Zambian people, you asked my brother and I to come together. We did just that. Now is your time to deliver your part of the bargain. And your part of the bargain is to make sure you prepare your voters' cards. Begin to speak to your neighbors. Spread the good news. Tell them what we have in store for you as youths. Talk to them. Farmers, miners, small-scale miners, civil servants. Spread the good news. Prepare to go and vote. Turn out in your numbers. There can only be distortions if you don't turn out in your numbers. If there's nothing, you give chance for some people to do their mingalato. But if you turn out in your numbers to go and cast your vote, there will be no chance. And our belief is that, yes, in some cases it will be difficult because of the areas where this will be, but the overall vote will definitely go against the UPND. So lastly, I just want to leave you with 4 letters. HOPE. That's what we stand for. H for hard work. O for open government. P for a people-centered government. And E for economic transformation. That's what we stand on as an alliance. We look forward to meeting you in the battlefield. We will bring the message in person to your areas. We'll spread. My brother and I will be in different directions. Very soon. I'll be in Mugubudu. He goes to Kalumwange. Also, I've been with Chitokoloki. And we'll be all over the country. We'll be in Luampa. We'll be in Kalumwange. We'll have to come and speak to you in person to good news. So we're very grateful for this opportunity, Ambassador Mwamba.
Oh, wonderful. Those are the leaders I was hosting today. Thank you very much for the opportunity. I'll release the leaders and I'll begin to take your question. They'll be listening to you, but they will not be on the platform. So let's take a commercial break, and then when we come back, I take your calls. We were hosting Honorable Makebi Zulu from the PF Pamozi Alliance and Honorable Brian Mundubile from the Tonse Alliance. Together, they have the Tonse Pamozi Alliance and one ticket. Leader Honorable Brian Mundubile and his running mate, Honorable Makebi Zulu. If you have to contribute, this is your time now, and let's get the program started.
Piasha tumone Bayut ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile Bamayona bataka mule faya nani ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile Bafama nani mule faya ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile Kopala nani mule.
Okay, the lines are open. Let's hear from you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Nameless, Ambassador Mwamba. Good evening.
Nameless, make your contribution.
Yeah, Mwamba, not wish what now Mulekera Kokuma leaders, but deliver this message to them. What policy are they going to put deliberately to compel, especially with transport sector? Abantu balekwa Mwamba, hapo muntu ayasinda kope motu kaya South Africa. Family bashala balekwa.
Thank you very much. The violence in Congo and South Africa.
Yes, Mwamba.
Okay.
Can you deliver this message to our leaders? Which are they led to come and put a policy deliberately to come and compel these some transporters? Others are doing fine, but others.
Thank you. Let's try to quickly take as many calls as possible. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yes.
Hi, Ambassador Mwamba. My name is Katumbi.
And, make your contribution.
Yeah. Thank you. With the coming of MZ8 and BM8, the future of our country is now clear, because what we've seen in this during this nomination, we've seen that the UPND used to accuse the opposition being violent. But now, the opposition is not there, because from their thoughts, opposition is not there. So the people are doing that. It's the UPND. Look at what happened to Gary Nkombo. Gary Nkombo was attacked by their own, the nephew to the president. The president has failed to come up and condemn that. The only thing he said, Vadiabambi. Who is Vadiabambi? Vadiabambi is the president and his secos. These people are doing it to disrupt the elections of Zambia, to make sure that they continue. Look at what has happened to Trevor Mwinde. Trevor Mwinde has made sure that the people are standing against him are not standing. Why? Because they are cowards. These people are cowards. Hakainde Hichilema is a coward. And I urge the people of Zambia, let's stand up to this dictator. We're taking back to 1960, 1950, because Hakainde Hichilema is a dictator. We have to make sure Hakainde Hichilema goes back to 1950. Thank you so much.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from, and give us your contribution.
Good evening, Amanda. This is Nanati.
Mama T, just a minute, I put you on speaker. You're not on speaker. Just a minute, Mama. Yes, Mama. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Yes, Mwamba. Mwamba. First thing first, I want to congratulate two leaders who've just left the state, and I'm sure they are listening wherever they are. Echo ndefwayo kutotera sana, ndefwa ntotele ba Makebi Zulu. Ba Makebi Zulu being a young leader, being a vibrant leader, we know that young people will choose their own benefits on behalf of others. But with Makebi Zulu, he has chosen us, the Zambian people. It's not easy when you have your own following and then you accept to become a running mate to your fellow leader. I will thank him, and I want to tell him to say his future is very bright as a leader of this country. We shall surely tell his story to the people, to the young ones, so that they know what kind of a leader that Makebi Zulu is. He's a leader who is very humble. He's a leader who thinks of other people rather than of himself. And then coming to the alliance, I just want to urge our president, President Mundubile, to say an alliance is an alliance. Let's work together to liberate this country from the hands of Hakainde Hichilema. Our goal is to liberate the Zambian people. Abantu barechula. It's not a joking matter. People are suffering. When you ask this country, when you ask the leadership of this country, they will tell you to say we are lazy. They will tell us to say we were cadres who were getting money from marketeers. Some of us, we've never been in markets. We've never collected money from markets. But that is the answer that they will give you. So, echo tulefwaya ilya freedom bakwete abantu. Kulyokubomba bakwete abantu. Wabomba wakwata ka profit wemwine wayalisha abana kumanda. That's what we want. Let's work together in unity. Let's liberate this country. Let's restore the dignity of the Zambian people. Abantu n'abasebana. Abantu n'abakwata enkongole. Because of this leadership, this failed leadership of Hakainde Hichilema. Hakainde has failed in all sectors. Whatever they are saying that no, he's scoring Katuishoko arrest score. If you former Zambians it to the Fimuna. Abantu n'abachula. If you are scoring ukokunse achalo kumana mi byoko mleto ala malaiti, then it doesn't benefit any Zambian. Mama Zambians isentuikatane. Isentuikatane pamo, you state kosa to liberate ourselves. Twali ikano kwa vula malaiti for 4 years. Kaya malaiti tule kwate. Fumine kuisa. Those are the questions that we need to ask ourselves. I am right to mwene for 6 months. Tekwala tukesa ya monana kanti hawe. Once we make a mistake that was made in 2021, we are doomed.
Thank you, Mama T. Thank you, Mama T. There are so many calls, Mama T.
Thank you so much, Ramon.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good. I'm calling from the Copper Belt Ambassador.
Yes, make your contribution.
Yes, Ambassador, when it comes to trading, business in trading, we have seen that the cross-border traders have been robbed of their business. How can you give trading business to people from other countries selling second-hand shoes? retailing. So all retail traders, those that used to go outside Zambia to import goods, they've been swallowed by these people from other countries. We can't name them. Where are we going? It's just that the presidents have gone. We have seen that all the cross-border traders don't have what to do. They've become destitute. So we should ensure that the incoming government bring in manufacturers. The production sector in Zambia, instead of foreign people to come and invest in manufacturing, they've invested in trading, and they've taken away jobs for us local people. Like that.
Thank you, my brother. I think we get you. About local jobs that should be retained for local people.
Especially in the trading sector, Emmanuel, Ambassador.
Yes. Okay.
And not only that, even bank loans, the interest rates for local business people are high. What is President Mundubile and President Makebi will do to reduce the interest rate so that we Zambians borrow from our own banks? We can't benefit loans. We are able to borrow Kalova. Why?
Thank you very much. It's very clear. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening. Anonymous, make your contribution.
Mr. Mwamba, President Nichobaya, Uzesko, Amalite, Tendi Kwacha Fili unit. Mwamba, Pite Kwacha Amalite, Shunga ni 25, Mwamba na Chiyo. Nomba, Amekala mu media mu ireba kwefe. Watu mwaba kwa ikosti, wale bashia ni ba Mwamba. Kweni, shuwa. Ba President apo bakalolekeshe po kuzesko pantu zesko eibomba kuma saluni kuma baba shop kuturi tonse tuma ice mutomulepanga tuma ice cream machine namona na fingire business iliko ba Mwamba nomba umusango wakutuchiri zesko fo ya nina zesko na nina ba Mwamba tetute elo ba Mwamba na isa kuri ba Makebi deep breast ukuichefya mwandini kusuma imumu alibafi humble from the word they go. I love the heart for Makebi Zulu. Gatunga kwata abantu benga banangu 20 ababanga Makebi mchalo mutima. Tichawa masana mwebesa. Be blessed, you are Joshua, Moses and Joshua. Mundubile esa mpera yena mano mukwete. Mutuwadiri okubomba mutuwadiri okuikatana fefe namula ikatana pamaboko babiri efe muleenda ine mwimisha lutampulo muri fefe bamundubira muchite mufunde ifo ba Mwamba bafunde nomba fwe mafolowa yaba Mundubile na ba Makebi bamwaba ku diaspora pira baba bena please ifo tumine pa kuchite chintu chimota tumine pa kulalanda kuwalanda tatwemini nepa kulandalanda ukulandalanda natukuleka tulesove chintu chimu ukulandalanda takwa tusove waimo walati fe wambo kulapange chongoji uko kutaliwe ni shulife bwino wow tefo tuchitafira campaign ifo tuchitamuteka tima ifibeka tene ifo tuwalefu okupusana echa achitika echo tupokelena kutilesa na tutotela ukutilesa tuwa mitotela tuwakula tuwadidi okufukamina imumwelesa until election ikapite kuri umutima bakwete ero naisa kuri violence iri muchalo ba Mwamba angels yeka alesta prophesy yeka feta pati na humburi kwa kuti bapuma noko bali ku stronghold yabo balwa nomba baluleta na mutauni baluleta kushikashi bapangwa shani mwelesa kwa Abrahamu ababantu awe lesangale sokolola poti mwala leta nangufe tuli mwina Kristu wabo mwina Kristu sana ole chitefya kuchita chitefya kumfisolo lesalesa mukuleta fecha bafena pabwelu nilesa fida tule totira leso kutira lesa na tuluila Kyabasokolokera beeka. Ine ndero mbako kuli mweba nandi bonsa loni tukwata omutima bonse fwe batumapa fwe baikatano fwe twaikatane fine tushikwa yano okupusanto ambe fwe kulanda ekintu kimu aloni tutwalire okulanda ekintu kimu aloni tutwalire n'okufukama ama kufita yafirwapo ama kufita yafirwapo professional yakwa Yesu Kristo ila tobaona na shumsefia kakana. Thank you Bamwamba.
Thank you very much. I've got so many callers waiting. Let's get this call. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Emmanuel Mwamba nema machika moneka mwapolenta.
Nditamayo mama chikamoneka kulishani kukitwe.
Kukitwe kulishela mpinali akamwe.
Mkwa inale mwana muleshana mailo na nena leshana na imwe.
Nalishana stam. Ero shilashana. Wena
London poma.
Emmanuel Mwamba inyokuba ngechimbuse chikalamba pa Zambia. Ningufwa insanse chikalamba sana. Pantwa government yaba imitofole United Party for National Development. Isirefyo kuya bebe abantu bale chula abantu bale ikulika day and night umulandu wakaloba ama lending institutions all corners of Zambia ama teachers bale ikulika ama nurses bale ikulika pamulandu ngakongo lenda alama Bamwamba ayo yene ama rate bale landa kuma bank nitula twabani abantu bafola ma 00 pama payslips. Government ifirefyo kuya ukwabula nokuseka tuli bonse muirampi mukati mu natotera.
Thank you Mayo, thank you very much, thank you Mama Chikamoneka there. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
This is Precious Inonyo from Livingston.
My dear sister, make your contributions.
I'm happy to hear from both of them, and I've heard them very well, and also the brand Mundubile. So me, what I want to encourage them right now, like the way they've explained, and we have seen the support from the people. So Honorable President Brand Mundubile, me what I want to say is, as we have seen all of us that both of you, you are being supported by the people of Zambia. And we don't want tomorrow to see that this government, again, they are in power. Because if we just see them that they are in power, then you know that Honorable Brand Mundubile, he was not there for us. Because right now we have seen Benadidi Mutamzi, the way they were disrespecting Makebi Zulu. So some of us, we didn't even believe that you are working together with Makebi Zulu. That's why us who supported Makebi Zulu, we were against your unity. But after listening to what you were saying there, even myself, I'm going to support you. And I will support you 100%. But I don't want my vote to see that after I vote for you, I see again my UPND in power. Just know that ECL's wishes is going to do with you too. Thank you very much. God bless you.
Thank you very much. There are so many calls. Let's be brief to allow as many people to say what they wish to say. Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, Bamwamba, Mwabombeni mkwai.
Nditamayo Mwabombeni.
Wabomba fe bwino tukashashira mfofe na kirala ndalidia.
Mkwai.
Fine bana mayo balantiro kweba ati. Echo tulelomba ko fe kuma leaders besu babonse babiri. Ba Makebi na ba Brand Mundubile. Chakweba ati fine mulandira apa. Vile fumapashi pamtima pamenu. Tatulefaya pantashi ukupusana. Pantu ababa UPND. Base ndafi amapepa ya ba PF. Lero mitima yesu fwe bantu. Tabasenda. Ifo twala misapota no kuvota twala vota. No kuwina mwala wina. Tulolelo kwa batukua pokele na ba Emmanuel Mwamba pa airport day akwisa. Batele tulelo mbanchi musha kwe bati. Efifine mlela ya bantu. Ama promise mlepela hapa. Eyo mkabombelepo. Echo tatulefaya bufu. Filefine banenu balebe po bufuka bati. Awa nkaleta obunga pa 50 kwacha. Bafiro kuleta obunga pa 50 kwacha. So please twapapatama promise mletu pera ene eyo mukatubombele ifina bafuma pali ba Brand Mundubile tofo okubalomba insele abale supporta ba Brand Mundubile baleke kulatukana insele ba Makebi Zulu please twapapata pandu apa
namwe katana muli omuntu umo tubombeleni kyalo kya Zambia ukola chikatane tubombele kyapamo tube omuntu umo bamwamba mubombe bwino mulale bwino ni voice ya naikoma.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Mwamba Shani.
Mkwai Mwabombeni.
Mama K calling within Lusaka.
Mama K, make your contribution.
Yes, Ambassador Npo ndise wokondwela ndine wokondwela pakona ba BM8 na MZ8 vamene vakamba apa. Chamene tipempako vamene vakamba ba BM8 na ba MZ8 ndiye pamene vikachitike zoona. Noti mwamene tivutikira ba ambassador tapita mu mavuto yosiyana kuchoka mu 2021 kufika pali zino nthawi. Tenzo kungoti mulungu tidzachita bwanji kuti vintu vinkhale so koma mulungu atiyankha ndi tizaenda 03 palaini andina kupita vazapita vazoona olochinkhale bwanji vazapita Makebi Zulu va BM8 ngati vamvera va president wathu mukachite vintu vokupya noti vamene vanachita vivisi vakuti kupromisa vantu vintu vapoza fertilizer 250 apa pakati apa venzi vanakambako va vice president vao mparliament atiai na mashini yanabwera yopangira ziki nazizira nkhani simverapo namanje mwamene mja mparliament bagi yabwerera ya fertilizer namanje simverapo koma chonde mukachite vintu vokupya veye mwakamba apa andi mukachita ivo musakondweresa munthu aliyense azakakondwera ndipo kusenza kwanu mulungu azakudalisa ndipo namanje apa akudalisani kudala izapitirirapomo paliponse pamene munkhala paliponse pamene muyenda mulungu azikuchingirizani mukakwera motoka mukalibokwelamo driver mkulu ni mulungu paliponse pamene muyenda vanjelo vazinkhala kusogolo vazivala pali imwe va MZ8 na BM8 ndipo tonse tinkhalichabe wogwirizana tikagwirizana vonse vintu vizaenda bwino satana sazapeza chance yakuti angenepo ndiye pamene nikambako va ambassadors koma.
Thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. Yes.
Uncle here. Thank you. A quick contribution. By the way, I'm very excited to see these great leaders, the sons of the soil, articulate issues and explain, the things that we Zambian people have really been yearning for. This is the leadership that we are dreaming for, and this is the leadership that God has responded to us to. My call basically is on all those that are still outside. I mean, things show where people's hearts are. Let them quickly join this team. The opposition, those that still, are still outside, join this team so that together we can progress. In conclusion, Ambassador Mwamba, I have a proposal. The president did touch the issue of expanding free education. I'm proposing that let this free education be also expanded, especially when it comes to tertiary, and just have a threshold. For example, those that score 8 points, let them go directly to these institutions. There should be a policy that is going to guide and provide that free education to those, brains that we have. Let us harness them. There is no country that can develop without an educated community. So there are those that score very high. Let it be automatic for those. Government provide everything away from the usual bursary that is full of corruption and other things. But let it be an automatic pathway. If you get 8 to 6 points straight to the university or even private institutions, let there be a policy that is going to guide this, and together I believe we can make progress. I thank you.
Thank you very much. I've got a caller waiting here. Just hold on. Just a minute. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and give us your contribution. Hello, Mwabombeni.
Mkwai. Hello.
Mkwai.
Ambassador Mwamba,
kwena chakubalira kubye utotera bafyo twakwata mlengu famkwai
Mkwa, you are very clear.
Okay, bafyo twakwata bakateeka weswa Brian Mundubile na vice president ba Makebi Zulu. But fecho ningalombako kuntungurushishesu ni kubantu abalekonka ba Makebi then abalekonka ba Mundubile. Tumone ko ati twabombera pamo twaikatana pakwati fintu fya twendera bwino. Then chimbi kutotla fena kuli mwa Mwamba because you were very instrumental mukumono ko ati twambo kukwata ko opposition batampo kuisa pamo. Uyuine emtimo tufile twaya na wenda. Then concern feimbe onkwete na chirafu okuchako nangu kuishba efe ochingaba. Ne concern ile akulipo ama political party otukwete ili ngalizo youth party PR then twakwata na NRP ya ba Mundubile. Nomba concern onkwete akwebati ngacha akwebati ile party let's say ngani kukopa belt tuberere twalanda tama MPs babe mine mukopa belt bali pachola then twalanda twa president bali pa pay right ndei pusho ko bati busheta chambe kukwata complication because ngatwamba okuingira mu campaign kulondera abantu kirebe kyashupa sana like lero twashingira ko mu campaign because campaign timetable na ifuma mukulondera abantu mwabe bati ba MP bali pachola then ba president bali pay right fine bakwati file shupa ko nishite tukibere fyo ko bati rafine tukwete ati ama MPs bonse na councillors bayimini na fe pa pay right then ngatwalipitireza pale fitwala bidda bambi abo bali abaleshara kuti baisa kwata kwefuro fya butisi bambi babako ambassadors ne fya shara because as we speak ambassador campaign yala moneka kwati yala tushupa na tukwata MP ali pachola then tukwata president bali palya pay right ngatungira mu campaign abakalamba tabakala understand nangu takulya mu kuvota fikashupa because abantu bakulambona kwati imbiri right feponze matanga MP mu muvotera. So concern yandi omwe bafyashi kuti mwaidoleke sharp because abakalamba bena bakala shupikwa na abantu bale ipita nomba kuri right nechola tukaravota shani.
Yeah, I think the president's answered that their secretariat are harmonizing and they'll be issuing both the announcement and also the guidelines to what happens in that case. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Nawera Dande Konomba
Mkwai.
Ambassador Nderomba ko fene kuikatana why ndiro kuikatana ba ambassador like baba kola bafuma kwapa tungurishishali kala chatera na ma instructions kwebati ama kansela kushikana pali ba MP mukopa belt kusaka paka bomfye chola nomba bena ko ku structure bayichinjabe ne babika pay right ife fishire kwa twetwambo kuberero kumfwe ntungurushi bafetureran bashiranda tuibanga ba ngaba UPND awaba kwata ma spokesperson abengi katwato muchinshi kuntungurushi intungurushi ngasharanda ni shinashishwe ko shireranda po ifo tufere twa ukoshi pantunga fyaba yuri from councillor okuisa afika pali MP oro president ewa ibera prophet bafirwa bakarambo kotao ukukira mwabama opponents babiri oku barerushe chikoro kimwe kine mweba nganda imoso ine ndero mbako abama ama meya raba meya kukitwe baraba kweba bali sat ta pa ama nominations para before intongolo stashiraisa na kuri bena babomfye fe initiative first step down ukukira bale shuke ndungurushi kwanta ma instructions bali beba bakitefe umuchinshi ukukita step down nishiba fo bena Zambia nombanga ba wambo kuruwa chitora ona ora ma votes so ndesi tapo fe encourage batonse ba ambassador abomfo ndungurushi shireranda tapaka beti kashupa why na apel.
Hello caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Mulibwanja.
Nili bueno.
Oscar.
Yes, Oscar.
Yeah. This is the goodness of having a country which is democratic. it gives rights to people to speak out. Okay? And what our brothers and the Mundubile and Makebi is just from doing, it is just confirming that people are voicing out. So what we are surprised is that there's some people who are calling our president a dictator. I'm talking about the president of all Zambians today. Dictatorship. Do they even understand the way the dictator? Someone who's a dictator. A command. So for me, my brother, the two comrades that are you are just from interviewing, they are just pushing the doors that are already open. If this is the message that they will take to the people, or the message that they will preach to the people, converting for votes, using the message they are going to lose terribly. Because Zambians are very much aware the foundation which has been laid by this government and the president. Yes,
thank you, my brother. Thank you. Oscar he supports President Hakainde Hichilema, and we let him speak. He says his views. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador Mwamba, good evening. You're talking to Mambo Chola.
Mambo Chola, make your contribution.
Mr. President, good evening. My short contribution is, Mr. President, we are very happy as your supporters that you found it okay to come together and work as brothers. This is not about one individual. This is about the nation. Your unity means a lot to us because the time you were in different angles, abantu baleyipusha nomushan. Tuli batatu bambi bale supporta aba bambi bale supporta aba. So with now this coming of you together as one, we are assured and we are surely knew that we are headed for victory come 2026. Because as Zambians, as youths, myself and my youth, we have suffered at the hands of this government. We have seen the load shedding, what it has landed us into. We have seen whatever they were promising us as youths, what they have failed, and we have seen that there is nothing that they are going to do, even if we can give them another 5 years. That is why it was the national call that you two people can work together. And I'm urging my fellow youths across the nation, let us rally behind the candidature of President Mundubile and his Vice President, Honorable Makebi Zulu. This is Mambo Shola. Thank you very much, Ambassador Mwamba.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Ambassador, thank you for the opportunity. This is the Zambian diasporian.
My dear brother, make your contribution.
Yes, thank you for the opportunity. Listening to the two honorables, they give a breath of fresh air, like every election in Zambia. My advice to them is to focus more on what they will do for Zambians and how they will do it. If they talk about reforming the civil service, what are they going to do about those appointments made by them, right, in the civil service in order to actualize the reforms? They will be responsible for appointing law enforcement agencies. What are they going to do to ensure that the DEC is objective, the ACC, the police are objective? I want them to focus more on their message than on the failures of the UPND. We know that the UPND has failed. The Zambian people know that the UPND has failed. But what is it that they are going to do different to uplift the lives of our people? We are endowed with natural resources. Says work for us as a people to ensure that Zambia keeps growing and is on a trajectory to promote entrepreneurship in our country, to promote leadership, to promote growth. are they going to do about uniting the Zambians who have been polarized for the last 5 years because of regional appointments? We also need a foreign service that is professional. They must be brave enough to ensure that whoever is appointed has the right qualifications, has the right integrity and the right knowledge to ensure that Zambia is sold and Zambia is played on the map in the world, that this is a country that can actually actualize its growth ideas and growth agenda.
Thank you very much.
The people,
thank you very much.
Resolved, and BM8, MZ8 will be in State House. Thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. How of you know my Badishani?
We know Nivana Angela. I'm back in Lusaka now. I'm calling from Loma Wadi, Ngwerere Wadi 22.
Wonderful, my dear sister. Make your contribution.
Yes. Namvera bwino pamene mwatitanira ba president wa plan Mundubile na ba Makebi yaikonka bonse pamene bakamba. Aba bantu ndi bazabwa kutipulumula ma problems amene tapitamo ya muri 5 years. Ulu nulubuto zona lakwati tichoke mumfimfi tibwere muto. Ero chinangu ba Mwamba. Mwaitabu ino kuti tingale clarified pamene papane mwe according makandidate vayimirira babiri. At least basebenzerepo tuone batipasa na makandidate bali popular pa ground than vinachitika last time. So ine namvera bwino kuli ba running mate batu ba Makebi Zulu na ba president ba Mundubile ife tili kumbuyo kwanu ground ye kupya kudala osa bwerera mumbuyo apa vote ye beoneke latu 100% forming a government so that mbwe mtisunge bwino aya mavuto anatapita muli aba bantu stifuna kubwera mavuto muri 4 years 5 years vanatapitamo. So ba president ba Mundubile ba vice president ba Makebi Zulu pitirizani so chabe na poshako na bamai ba mumbipiri uko pitirizani kutipushingira vintu kusogolo ndio kamba kwa kwanga zikomo.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
Yes, Mr. Mwamba. This is from Zambia.
Francis, make your contribution.
Kambia kona isi. Trende kona ifoba Mwamba. Mayango driver ifoba Mwamba.
Mayango drivers, mkwai.
Ba Mwamba na tuchura mule mfuako fe kuli bayango. Prechura paso apa kufika panganda pa. Tatuishi vena ofutwala kashinga ino wiki ngari minanyo toka bara tupoka fuya bambi. Na tuchura government ifo kumfwa. Twalira twana ba CC. Bali basanga no mlandu baya alikano kukonga bayango. Ishi ve bayango fu bakano kukonga mlandu basanga na wena. It's like kwa iba oko bashinjira bayango abapira mako akustofu balefwa. So tromba ko ba president ngabayisa ba brand papa tangabale umfofo ndelanda but pere ko loti mapu ifo mayango drive ofo bakachitofu bakatwafwa so that at least na kutresta benefit munchito turebo and then chiminatu bomfana bambi apa bale isaba tabaleta tabomfi defya chirarondo ba president ba brand Mundubile na ba Makebi Zulu ba vice president ataba bena ngate message bale fo kumfweyo Iskatuis message jo ba kwa kumfwa. I think bali verero kumfwa ufi. Bali verero kumfwa ufi. Fela message bali danda ba brand Mundubile na ba Makebi na umfika. Ba devo trero mbako. Enya ngo driver na papa tamtuwevele ko ba president ba fa ko platform wakati stekwa place especially for taxi driver ba Mwamba. Ala tuchula na tuchula mune umfwa fika. Kuli reflect kakuyango trevo mbela vyo buchushi. So to a papa tamtulo mbele ko kuli ba president but pele ko roti mapofo bakatwafa so that bayango ofata to abapata but ama conditions vale tamandi na tuchula so trero mbako ba president but pele ko roti mapo but webo ofo bakatwafa ko fema yango driver so that tukwate ko hope because apa abantu hope abantu bonse ali pwamo tabeshibe nomba tukashitashani because twalirira government taifa okutwafwa nomba tukachita chanzo naromba tika kuli Mwamba, please.
Thank you. It appears, thank you very much, my brother. There is an issue with truck drivers and an issue with Yango drivers. I know the leaders are listening, and there are various sectoral leaders are listening. They should provide an answer to that issue. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Mwamba.
Mkwai.
I just wanted to also disagree with the previous gentleman. Abantu amonga aisala ndefia bulokulondoloka mule bafuturati. Ifo twalimine ubufyo batu bepere twalimine 04. Na bapenti no kwimechititangu. Tebu fibo alengero butira tu. Imechite ya makada bali mu PF. That's why that day ya last election we wake up to 04 kwa kutakasti kufumia poetika lungu. They may so rest in peace. Did you know that Alelusa ama election? He didn't even send the soldiers to man the polling stations. So uyo muntu ngalelanda yamashuyu wachilanda me disagree with that gentleman. Mureba kutula abantu ba musango wamwe.
Awe turabaleka balanda goodness ya ino platform. Tumukati Oscar a supporter wa president akaindeje na makumuleka naye natoa umfa kwefi alelanda
ifo twali beperuwa ufi dakira mnyewa pali ashidia abantu bale bashaku yafu omuntu ba transporta bamu omuntu afu akukongwa yasenda kofie motoka yakwe just because achindika motoka ama family yale shara ale chula. Those are the policies our president was talking about. When you come, I'm going to change. When you vote for me, I'm going to change this narrative. That's what he was telling us. But what's happened? Former transport minister is there doing nothing. So,
thank you very much. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Hello, this is Miller, but I would love to go anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contribution.
My contribution is simple like this. Ambassador, how are you?
I'm very well. Please switch off your other device.
I'll switch off there.
Yes, make your contribution.
So my contribution is this. To President Makebi and as well as President Mundubile, one of our two leaders in the country that we simply admire today. My request is this, please, we've got issues around here, not only on the Copper Belt or any other place. We have a challenge whereby we've got more than 3 or 2 people contesting in one position. Look, like in Kitwe, or you're able to see a councillor contest in this position representing a Resolute Party and as well as National Reconciliation Party. So please, I'm requesting from these leaders, would you find a situation where you are able to come up with one candidate so that we can be able to consolidate, because as and when Parliament starts, you need to have majority and arrangement. So it is not too late. You can tell these candidates want to withdraw so that you can be able to support another. It is not too late. So that was my contribution. I'm just requesting from them so that things can be able to move in a better way. We are not too late.
Thank you very much. Thank you. I'll be taking the last calls. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from, and make your contribution. Yes.
I'm calling from Chingola.
Chingola, please make your contribution.
Anonymous.
Yes.
Ambassador, sometimes I wonder the people support UPND if they are really under witchcraft, like Honorable Joseph Panda said. How can somebody just come and say like Akahinde is not a man full of the kind of administration? That man is a very bad leader. He's the most failed leader ever seen in the history of this country. He has failed to lead this country. He has failed to talk about. He lies. Even on the wolf, ura wesha. Uro muta kwata neso nshabu fingare epo bufi abantu. What in bare epa right? He's a man you can even talk about, to vote about. Any normal human being on earth, even if it's his own wife cannot vote for him. That man has failed to lead this country since we got independence. Have you ever seen Zambians, potential Zambians, officials, men of caliber, living outside the country like it's happening now? All of you supposed to contribute in the country governance. You are living outside the country. Even if you are under opposition, we need you and we need you to provide advice, to provide leadership, to provide help for him to run this country effectively. He just go and pick cadres who are now going to beat their own people on public like the way they're beating Gary Ngombe. Look at the fracasses in Chavum. Look at the fracasses in Lunga. Look in Kalumbila. Go to Kitwe, go to Kaluluchi. Go to everywhere there is confusion. This is the government who can bring back again in power. No. We are so happy that Honorable Makebi Zulu and Honorable Mundubile have come together. The wind is straightforward. We are voting for these two people. Come 2026, 13 August, the government must change. We need freedom of doing business, freedom of speech, freedom of doing everything. Not how we are living now. We're living like you are a criminal in your own country. Our brothers are being killed in the Congo there. The president is quiet. He's saying nothing. People are being killed every day with Yango taxes. Nothing is quiet. Then you are saying like you are going to vote for that kind of. When I hear people talking about that kind of ceremony, I feel like I can beat someone. Thank you, sir.
Yo, mwikomo muntu mkaye vote if you don't beat someone. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you are calling us from.
Hello, Mwamba. Below nameless. I was not supposed to come back.
Nameless,
I've
make a
come back
contribution.
because I've been so much pushed by the gentleman who came to talk about, sort of like defending themselves. Yeah. Anyway, tule bakofena sensitive. Mwamba, I want to educate this mister. I hope he's hearing, is there, is listening. Mister, just go and Google and find out who is a dictator. I'm going to read out for you. A dictator is a ruler or political leader who holds absolute power over a country, typically unconstrained by laws, constitutions, or elections. They usually maintain control through the use of force, intimidation, and suppression of civil liberties. Now, what are the key characteristics? Absolute authority, total control over the government, military, and legal system, suppression of oppositions, elimination or heavy restriction of rival political parties, free speech, and protests. Have you heard? Thank you, Mwamba.
Thank you, Mwamsambiri Shako. Thank you.
Some of us, we suffer twice because of our problems. People can't just come out and start talking about things which they don't even know. We know what we are talking about. Go back to school. You've got a free education.
Thank you. You're Aumfwa. Hello, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution.
Chungula po mkwaiva tataba Mwamba.
Mkwai.
Ichakubalila po ndeto tela fiba tataba mu. Chila benga bombela pamubalu bule fwe bantu twachula muno Musambia. Edio kuli bakola balyandelo mbako fyo kubana bakola abo bachituma bayango. Imwe pali ino nshita bombe sheni. Ukutila muchite campaign. Imo mubelela ma truck drivers ba bena bonse bayango ama-drivers mwe bana besu natushiwa kuchula efemula echula natushiwa efemula epitamo fyonse nomba echo ndemilombako chako ati nimwevo nomba tampeni ukuiva vanenu avashishive apa kuvota ikataini ama-voters cards ine neule mweva nine senior citizen. I've gone out of my way. This government has to go. Mwikala femuleli lana yo nishita kuchita act na totela ba Mwamba ninena Mwamba.
Thank you, Mayo. Thank you very much for your contribution. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Mr. Mwamba.
Good evening.
Mine is just a question. And the Honorable President Veswavo, but how many seats have they managed to fill in my constituencies for MPs and also my council chairman and my mayors? Because what we're reading on the media is very worrisome.
Yo, what is the issue statement? Hello, my dear sister. There is a statement that was issued from the Secretariat, I think by Mr. Zumanzimba. He has said the allegation that they missed 75 seats, you must have seen that. There's a clarification of the number of seats they filed in. They filed in almost all the seats, almost, not all, but almost all. So look for that clarification. I also look for it. Maybe I can read it before we close. But there was a clarification, a statement that came from Zumanzimba.
Okay, please find it because it's very, very worrisome. Very, very worrisome. And the number was so alarming.
Yes. No, I think that was a clarification. Thank you. Thank you, my sister.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you.
Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Good evening.
Good evening, Ambassador Mom.
Good evening.
My name is Anonymous.
Anonymous, make your contributions.
Yes, calling you from Dola. I want just to contribute on two things. On the adoptions of members of parliament, which I know they have already responded, but I want to talk of one seat in Nyimba North. You find that Nyimba North, the candidate who was adopted by the NRPUP was engineered by the chief, who is a support of UPND. So the idea we did the Mingalato so that the UPND, they can have a weaker candidate on the opposition of our Tonse Arans Pamos. So leaving the person who is popular, who is Ruben Chombozulu. So later on, I know Chombozulu has filed now under RP. But I don't know when they are doing that, if they will remove Ruben, mark my words, and when it comes August 13, we are going to lose. The person who is popular, let them send people. I called even the young brother to Mundubile in Mbolokoso. I talked to him over the same. I know I've got his number, but that's a number which I think the police got. It's not going through. The number which is using, I don't know. He knows me and I know him personally. I wanted to mention about this. So what happened is, I called someone in Chipata to go and find out on the ground, and they found out
Twala chita shani Sanika lubuto Saniki chite mwiko Sanika kabwani Sanika makwebo Bayu Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Bamayona batata mule fwaya nani Mpyasha tumone Bayu Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Bamayona batata mule fwaya nani Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Bafama nani mule fwaya.
Let's see if we have volume. We lost volume temporarily. I'm taking the last 5 phone calls and then we close. Thank you. Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Yeah, I can mention my name.
Yes, Anonymous, make your contribution.
Yeah. Funo kamba kwa chape. Linkara kuchawama. Mfani pembeko banduwe mvela. Papeji yanu hapo, please. Igwirizane chape kuti aba bantu tibachosepo. Kosi palibe vevachita. Mulibe otiwe kambetetini. Vashitaichi. Kulibe vevachita. Poti mirandu zapakisa. Ime muandalama mwese kutawa chero chino. Watu moise wampawe yoti na manyumba tengwa kulibu ya naunga tengwa kugula manyumba. Zakatebera kuti. Zatebera kapena ni kwa misisa zatigwe. Zatebera kapena mepusi ya vonga. Wazatigwe.
Thank you. Thank you. Yes, caller, please tell us your name and where you're calling us from. I'm taking the last 5 calls.
No, thank you. My name is Chala Ponde. I'm calling you from Dallas, Texas. Sorry I came in the conversation. I just wanted to ask a question to our president and the vice president. How well are they going to protect the votes if we are fighting these people who are so cruel and with a lot of cadres who are injuring people? Do we have people who are going to protect the votes? That's my question. Because if they can do that to Mr. Gary Nkombo, I don't know what will happen to the opposition in all polling stations, in the rural areas and in everywhere in town, everywhere.
Thank you.
That's my question, sir.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from and make your contribution. Hello, caller. Make your contribution. Yes.
My question goes, I think it's the same question with the lady who's just coming from. Hi, Katumbi here again.
Yes, Katumbi, we can hear you. Just switch off the other device because you'll be hearing feedback.
Like the lady who's just from asking, how are we going to protect our vote? Number one. Then number two, I know Hakainde Hichilema is listening to this. Yes, I know Hakainde Hichilema is listening to this. Yeah, Hakainde Hichilema is listening to this. I'm just gonna tell him one thing. Your time is up. Your tricks, we've known them, and you're not going anywhere. If I was you, the best time for you is just to say, Zambians have failed, and I hand over power to the right people. Because look at what you have done to the people in Zambia. There's nothing which you have done, and the only thing you are hoping that Your Mingalato will continue until thy kingdom come. It won't. Your time is up. Hakainde Hichilema. Step down. Thank you.
Thank you. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you're calling us from.
Hello, Mwamba.
Tuawomba. London poema mweba. Where are you calling us from?
I'm calling you from Southern Province.
Mwape, make your contributions.
My contribution is going toward these two parties that we are going to use, more especially MPC, RP, and the other one, Equatelite. Since it's the first time to use this strategy in Zambia, we have never used the Akobati President Amina Pelaiti, and then MPs like Kopa Belt and Rusaka, Bagachola. I'm sure this one is going to confuse the voters. My humble request, I think you can deal with this issue private with the two presidents, so that at least, like the way it is, Yakovat president, party party with MP, like that suit. Then Yakovat Votera MP, Bagachola, President, Belite. It's going to confuse us because this is the first time we have never done this before in Zambia. That is my contribution, sir.
Thank you very much. Hello, caller. Please tell us your name and where you are calling us from and make your contribution.
Good evening, Ambassador Mwamba.
Good evening.
This is unanimous in Kaputa.
Yes. Bakaputa Landenipo.
Bakaputa, the first night the Mohanat Salanavesu. That's pity. I am quiet. Now, not push a once the way Kalakumula soil. In a quenelle weekend for Kulanda Punichi. Like Ababan to me, Sbuff from Kulanda, Kuba Kainde, I know in the for natural for Kulanda. Kuba President Hakainde. Alam history ya Zambia political. Tamwaga ukutinga kwaba opposite a change of time made by MMD na UPND mwali wasana. So imova UPND mwala sangweni kuibiri. Please try and change ka trend. Ilikuwa ama first term elections yenu bakainde honestly. Abantu bafuwe yomsango oyu. It's on your head. Takuli history kalandwa pwesu mapali imwe awe abantu bafula shanyu okufuwa omusango oyu ama road accidents yalife yekoko ba former UPND MPs muleba puma muleba lopola ba president Hakainde still president ushefida ba umine uli omulumendo chelo I can't remember his first name chelo uyo waide kula kumonze east mukubishanya na ba
Jack Mwimbo.
Jack Mwimbo, President Hakainde, when you sit down as a husband, as a father, maybe as a grandfather, as a brother, as a son to your mother, as an uncle, ukula mono muntu ale pumwa fide ba muteta kumezo fide fuimbire kumatwi bachifuba mumbafu. What kind of weapons were your candidate your supporters using? President Hakainde mwali sambirira mwali ku Birmingham ko kumabulaya. Honestly, the 3-5 years mwai kere mule chama master's degrees kulia. Tamwa mwene kwa my elections yaba conservative na ba labor na ngubambia yabako. Mwali mwene kubale uma abantu. Mwale chita okutakisha ati I've got a lot of foreign friends abroad. You mean from your foreign friends abroad? Tamwa sambirira ko civilization yakuchita hand over power mumutende mumuchinshi. Abantu bafa ma voters abo, some of them eba mi votere pa UPND. That's 2.8 million. Ngakwali ukupituluka mu mwalasa ngati abafuire bambi bantu bale imalu chero mutu mummi kalire ishalo ndoroka hoping and trika londoroka. Awe Mr. President to alanda pa organizing our opposition, but this time around in kunoka kaputa natila miebe cover president. Awe abantu bafa whatever formula you are using at muwine nabantu kubepa efi chakana 1-2 mu UPND nichikwabela ama adoption certificates yabiri ya tatu you mean tamwa kwa taking social scrutiny pali balabe ni mwabika po ba secretary general na bambi ukuti bale sign na fidefi paper chakwa Simon mwewa mwali sign ichakwa Kate na kazo mwali sign elocate na kazo mwabumba na 5 years yapita apapene mwaisa mwikata mwamubika na muchifungo because Kate na Kazwe muchivemba kana kanama kalina obunongo mu menso mwaiche sana wakati mumuvule mwabomba na ngoyu mwaka imyaka ileo mwachinja abantu before na Simon Mwewa for whatever reasons nimwe mwishile mweyaka kaketi na Kazwe ishiri UPND nesha kabalemba UPND even when bamazoka formed UPND nishindikala musaka nshalo lesheko na lanjepe nati ni freedom ni democracy but bali ama citizens mulele nga bachena banawo it's a cry of my heart bantu baliana bo Kate na Kazwe ali upwalimbi na kwatabana fiala na bashifiala like nachila chita point on your family. That's a beloved of her family, of his family yomwe mchelo na imwe you are beloved nomba imwe na mwikala kumkomwe kuchinji ko mwikala ku community house fiance filifye bwino na bamutinta na bana munatu mutinta na tumbi ko twana twenu abana babene bamwana chelo balelira wish naba bachena and you call yourself a president let no kimle for another term. I'm just an ordinary citizen kuno kwa kaputa I'm concerned ndefa yumutende citizen ose abakulu bonse pala bapelele ba mwimbu basekela mukwe bati chelo kuti abo mwana waona ngumwe shikulu wabo abatika no bamulopole bamuchenefera fini Kate na Kazwe ni junior wakwa Gary Nkombo mwaba lopola bonse Gary Nkombo mwatuma bakumupuma. Are you not ashamed of all these things ba president akainde nichi tochine chaba kumutima wenu ndefo okulira nchi chaba kumutima wenu chambiko sho mutima fumule muna fya abantu bale chena naka imwe mulefu atadi mukawena next time au yama weleni monshiretila yama filwa mitati bari intwe boko twafuma mwaome umoni yama ubilitata umbilishikuru so nimena mukina pali buyama you can be my mother's young brother awe yama bakainde chinje nikiya mulimu ya kutila tena abantu bafwe bale fwafye mumbude fwafye abo mulefwaye utwakana turefa ichalo chesta kuli kwa kuyaza ama refugees ababene Mwamba na bene bambi abachita test mu refugee liline epo chipelele the next government that may fire ama citizens basambo kula butukira mu kuchalo kumbi. We are the Zambia that has kept a lot of refugees apopene tu abamapti panopene tu abamapti as if landlocked baba tushinguluka bonse they have lived in Zambia na Tanzanians na Congolese na I didn't know we had Kenyan refugees until recently. We had Ugandan refugees. Amini, so is that the reputation for Kukula? Awe yama chinje nyamano not at banko bari amuchinshi wachive mboko na fiarwa from yeni kwefele kenu kwipa ya abantu please mibe patika kwipa ya abantu mukateke ubufi mulapo wa muntu lalanda the blood speaks ababonse mule ipaya their blood will cry on the heads of your children and children's children.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. We have had a wonderful program. We were hosting Honorable Brian Mundubile, who's leading the alliance of Tonse and Pamozi Alliance, and his running mate, Honorable Makebi Zulu. Thank you for joining us. Look for more programs in the week. We've lined up a lot of programs in the week, a lot of leaders that will come to your program. You are lucky I've answered you. You are my last caller. Make your contribution.
Thank you so much, Mr. Mwamba. I've been trying, I think, almost 2 hours.
I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry, but I'm glad you've gone through. Make your contribution.
Yes. Mwamba, thank you so much. My first contribution is I just wanted to appeal to our president and the vice president. We are looking at Misepela, Muchalo Chesu. Na mumone findi file chitike Misepela na waya kushukuru na basambirira but takulifi ya kuchita. Elo tuwalisha tuvuteko tetuwingishe bonse nchito kuti bavombe. But abantu bali kwetira ma threat kuti bayimini na paveka bayirodesha nabena bayivombera pafale imini na paveka. Echo tulera ndaba mamba chakwe bati ubuteko bwesu na bwali bwa kwimini na kupfa abantu bangisa tupira ku amatrade muchalo cheso makamaka kumisepera alati mwamwe na bayimini nabe nebeka ebonse bakalalira nchito kwingira mu government ifefe tulefo kumono ko bati iyo basa ingira mu buteko pa 20 August 13 baroresha posana parichi because echintu kire kisagamika ayama junks mlemo na bana abalefu mamayanda okwati bambe bali kwa na maskuru bali pepa ya mafwaka bali chitashani so tulero mbokwe bati na president principal ayo mfano vice president ofire ba rusha pokufia ole petule mona abanenso bali chitabwino nabakuti bayalomba kuleta abantu aba basatupera ma trades kubana beso basayimina apa paveka entrepreneur wale imombera bene kuchawa ichaku cha namba 2 bamwamba chakwe bati leo mfensoni futwe bali kukyalo fimbi tule mono kweba munyina na munyina ai maubule panga omumunangwe bakacheka naye kalanga tondoro alero lechakofi kile umfensoni na pama social media la watu kushokoa tu wafuma kuchalo nshi kile umfensoni no plan no kwa tunde fuma kuchalo cha mzango spanto ile mtafire moneka bwe so tulelomba ukweba tibakateka na chilango kweba tina musirwa shikulu abaneno abakwata amano bafora omutendo kumuno kwebati basho omutende balanda kati mwe bantu bakwalesa alana afirwa ekira bakwite kuona bena amakaya kusateka esi bateke efyo banawo basita simiro pature tude muna kubantu abakala mabali mu UPND kibaye minyo bya kito mukakabulo abaye cyo musango fukula tuma abantu la bakita adapt mu musango mfiria ushina twali bapere imbi 5 years ala tabaka tupwe wonso ko twipaya so tulero mbokwe bati na muno kwe bati mwafirwa ala lekireni ko bandi ishimiro pamule ponya chisa chitafex yabenshikuru nabenshikuru bene no lupa rwene lonse bambi bakashama tabakalesangane nchito mubute kubantu bakala mona fiyeshina bakwe bati yeye mwesha mwayibukisha abantu aba ifi fyonse mwirafi mwena pali inoshita ati mumwene ku future ko tuleyo kandi mweshiteyo tamwakabeko abenshikuru nabenshikuru bakachula bantu bakeshibe ifu mwachitire nefe mwashire cyalo bamwamba. Thank you so much for interest mamlebomba.
Thank you.
Mbira kona bakateka beso 26 August 13th ala state house na ipalama yenu na totala mkwani.
Good night and God bless you until tomorrow when we have another special guest. God bless you.
Piasha tumone Bayut ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile Bamayona bataka mule faya nani ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile Bafama nani mule faya ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile Kopana nani mule ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile apana panapa kasukulu nani mule faya ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile come on balya bambibela batushupa bafula batangisha mafunda ya lufyengo no lupato batupatanya kubofi mitundu nendalama mumayanda mulinsala business balikaka nomba twala chitashani sanika ulubuto sanika jitemwiko sanika kabwani sanika makwebo bayu ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile bamayona batata mule faya nani ni Mundubile na Makebi bengile bafama nani mule faya fwaya nani Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Papa manani mule fwaya Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Kopala nani mule fwaya Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Kasukulu nani mule fwaya Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Bayut Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Bama na batata mule fwaya nani Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Bafa manani mule fwaya Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Kopala nani mule fwaya Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Abanaba Kasukulu nani mule fwaya Ni Mundubile na Makebi Bengile Lilampifye Sanika ulubuto Sanika kitamwiko Sanika kaboni Sanika makwebo We say no to tribalism No cadrelism No sacralism As Christians twapepa tulekeni Tuvote hapo tulefwaya fwebene This year's vote is to our freedom fighters. They loved each other and moved in one unity, shedding blood for us. We can't